Yeah, yeah, yeah. Stevie, yeah. Southside till infinity and beyond. Scotland and New York, the type of shit that we on. Could last a couple eons. Here to bring the light, oh yeah, I'm bagging up the neon. Bagging up the neon. Let the fan, but then I made it right, but could you be wrong? For sleeping on the train and trapping just to make a new song. Bag of Stella at the party, then we get the groove on. Smash it, told me spend the night, I had to be gone. Jurassic, pussy feeling like the new classic. I blasted, got my log in without the password. And shit ain't been the same since I took the tab of acid. Got me like, what happens to a dream deferred? Them nightmares reoccur. The slight fears reassured that anything you wanna do is like, yeah, it's premature. Life could be a bitch, but you ain't got a bitch to her. I manifested, you just imagine. This shit was destined, you can't imagine. This ain't for looks, no, this ain't a pageant. Me and Stevie Creed is lyrical assassins. Yeah, it's lyrical assassins.
Take a walk in my shoes as I stroll through the blocks. AirPods on blast while I let the beat knock. Hip hop won't stop, started with my tape pop. Now I'm in this thing forever, catch your haters at the top. Take a walk in my shoes as I stroll through the blocks. AirPods on blast while I let the beat knock. Hip hop won't stop, started with my tape pop. Now I'm in this thing forever, catch your haters at the top.
Stress, levels are trebled, walking ethical rules. Clothes disheveled, so tremble like a step with the crows. Close bro was a salesman that sold me a ghost. Every level has a devil, they don't go to your shows. Talking about the people who never see the sequel. See, having a dream is evil, raining on magazebo. The Beatles ego pushing seeds like a kilo into ignorant people, throwing me off like a kilo. Extra terrestrial, exceptional, fluorescent glow. The next to blow, you're a vegan, well I'm the vegetable. Eat me, give me head and shoulders, seeing like a telescope. The feeling you're believing, releasing you, it's a chemical. Luring this family.
Hello, people. How's it going? I do believe I've been hacked by Stevie Creed tonight, and he's fucking got me playing his single for him or something. Eh? It's quite a banger, isn't it? I believe that's dropping out tomorrow, and we're going to be doing a video for it and everything. I actually, Stevie's got some awesome songs, but that song in particular is right up my street. It's got that fucking old school hip hop 90s like feel to it. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, I'm going to play it again at the end if you fancy hearing it. However, tonight, it's all about one man that changed the world for everyone. No, he didn't. He may have done. He probably has done. Anyway, this is Aaron Dennington. He played in a band called the DARC. I met these guys and played with them. But the first night I think I met Aaron, he was wearing a Che Guevara t-shirt around his head, and it was like a fancy dress night. Anyway, I'll talk to him about that in a second. Yeah, absolutely. Top banter from this guy. I've been looking forward to this chat for a long time. So let's, without any further ado, let's do this. Oh, where's all my audio? Come on, there it is.
Yeah.
Ba-da-ba-ba, Aaron Dennington. How are you doing, son?
All right, how are you, Stuart? What's happening?
Very well, very well. I'm nursing a sore back. I put it out yesterday. I was just telling you that. But other than that, I'm hunky-dory, pretty happy. How's yourself, man? Where are you at the moment?
I'm doing all right, aye, considering in that, no bad. Been doing some tunes and that, just been doing some demos, which has been all right, aye. Where
are you? Like this place?
I'm in like somewhere you'll never. It's just somewhere. Just somewhere. That's all you need to know.
It's somewhere.
Somewhere
getting some
over
music.
The rainbow.
Getting some fucking music done, eh?
I will just scratching some demos down and stuff. Just wee ideas that I've had kicking about for a while that I should have done before I take it to a studio somewhere. And,
am I right in thinking I met you? I've got a photo of you. I'm pretty sure that was one of the first nights I met you. Was you had a Che Guevara like baby t-shirt on, but you had your head through it, and it had like sticks at the side. And I think you were playing a gig at Whistle Binkies with Dark Jokes that night.
That's right, because I think that's the first time I met you, because I think you were headlining the Seabass Kid at Whistle Binkies. Was that right?
I honestly couldn't remember. I've got this picture, and I remember. I'm like, that's fucking Aaron. I was like, I must, it was just a moment when I seen it the other day. I'll send you some other hard drive, but I'll send you. It's a funny photo.
Well, I think it was that what happened is we were meant to be playing. It was a Halloween night at
That's
Whistle
right.
Binkies. Can't mind who booked us at the time, Gav or something, I don't know. I can't remember who booked us, but Paul got the booking, and we went and we said, all right, we'll go to do some Halloween stuff. And I think the lads, it was me, Paul, and Matthew were doing the free piece at the time. And
Right.
they are turned up, I don't know, with just some sort of silly stuff, like, I don't know. But I decided to go home and just ask my missus at the time. She had any red t-shirts, So I got a red. So I didn't actually go Che Guevara. So what I done is I cut a hole in the t-shirt.
Alright.
And like, I've never been the sort of hairiest of guys, So I just penciled in like a mascara, a tash, and that hole in the red t-shirt, stuck it through, wore like a sort of military t-shirt, shirt, button-up shirt, and a t-shirt and cardboard and that, like you would just like see on like a sort of hippie stall at a festival or something. So I didn't actually go Che Guevara. I actually went as a t-shirt. So
I see.
so I that was quite funny. It's quite funny trying to kind of the lights and binkies are right in your face and it's really hot with that on to do 245s in a row. I think it was at that point. I don't know. That's the first I met you the first time at Whistle Binkies. I think
I'm
it was
pretty
just
sure that was it.
or something like that. But I remember seeing your band there. Aye.
Yeah, but when did the dark jokes start in that? Like, because like when I came up to Edinburgh, like you guys were on the sort of the mouths and the lips of a lot of folk. Everyone's like, because I've always been keen and wanted to know who's playing and who's doing what. And you were the first sort of band that was sort of mentioned to me like a few times. Like, how long had you been together at that point, or like is because your brothers obviously.
The thing is, me and Paul had been looking for like a decent like bass player for ages and that. So me and Paul had we started off doing our first studio way back in the day, probably about 2002, 2003, and that was in like an old Chinese supermarket at the top Easter Road, right next to Middleton's bar. And we worked with a few guys there. Things didn't sort of work out, but instead of I was going to go to university after studying like an HND and music and audio technology at Falkirk College, which I mean, like, the gear there was absolutely shocking. We were still recording to DAT and ADAT and all that kind of stuff. Within 1 year of leaving, instead of going to uni, we had a better studio than the college did, And this was before Edinburgh College got their refurbishment with all their SSL desks and all that kind of stuff. So we ended up just sort of developing for that. We moved into Granton and all that kind of stuff. And we were always on the lookout for like a decent bass player and some other kind of musicians that would get in on what me and Paul's idea was, and which was kind of sort of an alternative rock kind of thing. Using electronica as well, because we used to do a lot of techno together back at the Illegal Raves. We'll go into that a wee bit later. We can divulge.
Hell yes.
But in terms of your question, we're talking about 2008, 2009, starting to get the things together. So at that point at Binkies, probably about 2011, 2012, 13, something like that. We've done that many Binkies shows. It was like crazy, man, So
that's where you cut your teeth though, right?
Sorry, man?
It's a great place to cut your teeth, Binkies, like, because you have to actually walk through the crowd with your amps before you play that gig.
Aye, that's right. You're getting all the eyeballs. Who are they and that? Why have they got all this gear and that stuff? And trying to get exactly. Trying to get away from Binkies without any broken gear is pretty difficult because there's beer always at the front of the stage and all that stuff. And we
dodging fists and pints.
Well, that's it. So there was like a lot of that stuff going on.
And was it like, so you're saying you wanted to do a sort of alternative rock thing? Was that like, was that like an idea in the back of the head the whole time? Like, it was like, we want to do something a wee bit different, but with some fucking. It
started off at the Meadows, man. Right? We had no set together. We had a bass player that never knew any of the songs. We never had any songs formulated. So we ended up just turning up to the Meadows with a battery, a leisure battery, an inverter, And it was on like one of these days at the Meadows where they were saying there was going to be a party on Facebook, but then it got cancelled, and we thought it was a great opportunity just to turn up at Krusty Corner and totally set up and just jam for ages. Then we ended up getting rappers coming up with us. I hadn't seen Chris Buckley for years, just on the off cut. I seen him at Whistle Binkies, and he was there with a pal and that. So we had it all set up, and that battery lasted a good 6 hours.
Mate,
so we were
awesome.
jamming riffs, man, like for ages. And then next thing after that gig, I'm sure we ended up like going to the forest and all these kind of places. And loads of people were getting up. And we were just known as this sort of jam band. And right off that one thing we done, we got asked to play Kelburn.
Whoa.
Zeb was in the crowd. If you know Zeb for Kelburn, everybody knows Zeb, right? He's all right. But he said, like, because like there was a lot of people there. Must have been about 200 around there, just gathered round. So we're sort of in the centre of Krusty Corner, and people are gathered around. So that's how we started. Is just jamming with no songs planned, just a drum kit, a PA with the guitar and bass and everything. Mike's gone through it, distorted as fuck, like, but it sounded punky and like new, and it went. The jams went on like. For a while, but
that's the most organic sort of start to a band, though. And like I've seen a few bands sort of start that way. It's like, we'll just play a few covers, or we'll just like jam about, and like, you can sing. Have you got some lyrics? Like, you got some chords? Let's throw something together. And then 2 months later, you'll see them build, and they'll have a name, and like, and it's the nicer way to do it, because you know instantly that your music's like resonating with folk.
Oh, aye, definitely. The thing is, though, like, we were right on the street right away. That's why I love it. Personally, I like being on the street at eye level. Being on the stage, I mean, I'd say you're still on eye level at Whistle Binkies. I think the stage is only a bit
depends on the stage.
Off the ground. But I like being in the position where it was like people around you and all that kind of stuff. And like certainly Jamie Hogg, who was a fantastic bass player for us, one of the most intuitive bass players I've ever worked with. Also Rory that came in later. Everybody knows Rory.
Who's Rory? Never heard of that guy. Who's that guy?
But the thing is with that is we got the bug for it. Playing out in the grass, in nature, or on the street, and just on a summer's day. You know what I mean? That's where it started, and a lot of people got interested in that. We had rappers coming up, brass players coming up, so we basically were recruiting on that first day.
It's amazing.
It was sorry.
That's amazing. Like, you guys have done a lot of busking as well. Did you find that you could make it work financially as well once you got a sort of wee setup going in that?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, busking was our main income. Yep. During the summer, I mean, like, you can't know how hard it is. I mean, especially with the weather and everything like that. I mean, we were like hitting some big numbers, and that, especially when we got to the point we were taking later after we were getting the album underway. We used to do like a cover set, which was 45, and then an original set, which is about 45 as well. And what we were good at doing is like kind of judging the crowd, being on the street and doing 3-4 sets a day, and then doing a gig at night. You'd be well ready for that gig at Binkies at night. We'd be doing 3 or 4 sets during the day, during the summer, at the Mound. Aye. So we got tight, both with Jamie and Matthew, who played cello with us and everything like that, and with Rory later. The street is definitely where you cut your mustard, I think, and I think it should be. Well, there's a lot to talk about that kind of thing in terms of Edinburgh Festival and all that. But certainly, on the street was like where the real work happened, and some of the magic happened, and some of the ideas developed as well. Definitely. Yeah.
That
was where we sort of started. Yeah.
We had quite a bit of success busking as well. We used to do the bottom of Middle Meadow walk, and again, if you could get we were lucky we had some brass. Like, if you had the brass going, it just drew people in from miles away. It was awesome, and you could end up with a really big crew. Another thing we used to do occasionally, we'd go to like Bristol when everyone was queuing to get into the Fringe shows. So there'd be like 500-600 folk just queued, literally waiting to go see Tom Green or something at Udderbelly. And we just rock up on that wee underpass, you know, the uni bit at Bristol Square. We used to make killer money. Exactly. Yeah. And But then also most of the really cool and better paid gigs we got came off the back of someone offering us it on the street.
Well, that's it. I mean, if we talk about that, if we want to talk about that, that's how we ended up in Brazil, because you didn't ken who's going past. We were busking in the grass market, you know.
That's
I
how
mean, you're never going to get. I mean, like if you're like wanting to get as much crowd as you can, especially in the festival. If you're in a venue, you're stuck in a venue. There's 1,000 different acts, music acts specifically, and multiple
then everything
thousands
else.
of acts, comedy and stuff. If you're in the go-between, in the thoroughfare, you didn't ken who's walking past and who's going to offer you this, that, the next thing. Loads of gigs, different people taking your card, offering you festivals, all this kind of thing. And I thought that was like, just that alone, it was amazing for a band. And you get tighter, and you're getting paid to rehearse.
Yeah.
Instead of being stuck in some rehearsal studio or something like that, you know.
And you're getting instant feedback on your tunes as well, like because you're playing. I mean, you might play something, you might literally jam something that day, and you'll notice how well it goes down. And you'll be like, "Wow, that's a keeper." And then there's another one you might have been playing loads, and you're like, "That's just not taken. We've played that 6 times, and nobody fucking likes it."
Well, that's it. You've got to test out your crowd as well. I mean, there's a lot of bands that'll take like a mini tour, like small venues before they go on their big tour.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Frightened Rabbit used to do all that.
Did they?
Take it to like wee places, scope the crowd out, see what's happening. This is the other thing we used to do as well, because like when we started playing places like Binky's, and certainly when we went to the jazz bar and stuff like that, and playing festivals for free, we were playing a lot of Americana, a lot of blues, a lot of dub. We had brass in that as well, so we were kind of picking out loads of different factions of the festival crowds that were coming in to see us, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And what was happening was like you would get maybe people who were into reggae dub coming to see us because they liked that sound, and the next song would be like a rhythm and blues track that would keep the sort of rockers a wee bit happy. We would kick into one of our originals that are like it's completely like got some samples in it and all this kind of stuff. So what you're doing is you're getting all these sort of wee tribes together and mixing it up. Like you're doing covers and you're mixing up covers in different ways. Then when you get to the jazz bar and you're doing a headline slot there, for instance, sure you have done a few, I'm sure.
Weirdly, man, it's a venue in Edinburgh that I've never played, and it's like up
Really?
there. Yeah, I've never played the jazz bar. And I'm desperate to play it. I'd love to do a set there. Just never got around to it. Like.
That's the thing, though. I think Bill took a wee chance on us, because I think it was Phil Ramsey that got us the gig because he used to play with Big Hand there. Remember?
Aye.
They were sort of ska, kind of like poppy ska, and then you can Phil. He can sell sand to the Arabs, man. You know what I mean? So he's like, Bill, I've got this new band, blah blah blah. Just give us a chance on this, and he gave us a chance, and we done like a really good show. It was all covers, Americana, then the Ken Seeger session stuff, and with cello and piano, and like Bill really liked us, and he took a chance on us a few times, and he was a good guy for that. Like he wanted to also to have the jazz side of things, but to encourage the up and coming new music that was going around Edinburgh, which we liked, and we would just literally be busking that day, have to go to the studio after it, take all the stuff, get up to the jazz bar, get on day, and he would be like 2:45s, no break and stuff like that. So he really sort of schooled us in that. But I thought that
it's good money too, right? The jazz bar, man. It helps.
Right
it fucking helps.
A good day of busking, oh man, you got all the money that came in on the door. And the thing is with Bill, you always knew when you went to the jazz bar, you weren't really taking a chance. You were always going to get good music, and that was a really good thing and a confidence boost for us, because that we thought that the situation was that like we were on the back foot, we were just coming in as sort of like underdogs a wee bit, and then the fact that it took a chance on us was like a kind of nice, and then we sort of proved ourselves a wee bit, and it gave us more gigs. It was like sometimes every 2 months, and then sometimes every month, and that kind of thing. But in terms of money, man, we were after busking all day. It was great, and then
isn't that a nice feeling though, when you like, and it doesn't happen all that often, so like you remember it when you do, but like when you walk away with a chunk of change in your pocket after playing your own tunes and selling your own CDs and your own t-shirts, it feels fucking good.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing I was going to get to. Like coming back to the festival scene, where we would be playing, like we would get booked for sort of like Knocking Gorick like the stage, which was a cabaret stage, next to the main stage. So when the bands were off, we would have to just go on. And we played like maybe, we went in on the Thursday night. We ended up playing non-stop all through the Saturday. I remember Phil falling asleep. Remember, like Phil, I don't know if you remember, he jumped off the stage with Big Hand doing some festival down south, some hippie festival or some ska thing, some ska stage. And he jumped off the stage, like a big stage, off the speaker, and he broke his ankle, and he still had it on, right? So there's a photo of him with his spooky up, fell asleep with trumpet in hand at the knock side stage, the cabaret stage, I mean, that's the only one we were for, like. So it was like, it's sort of cutting your teeth.
Sounds about right for Phil, to be honest. Like,
but not getting paid for the festivals, but you've got to kind of take a wee leap there, and just try and get your name out there. And then that's how, as you started, we said, the names goes about the dark jokes and that, but it's in different circles because we're ticking a lot of boxes at first. Then what you end up doing after that at places like the Jazz Bar, for instance, is you start dropping the covers and putting in your own songs, but people learn to know you. Then you get all these people for these different sort of tribes and factions in music start to listen to your music just because it's yours, and you've brought all these people together. You've got guys with dreads and that dancing with people that are a bit more rocky, with the sort of jazzers and that, and everybody's all boogieing away to the rock and roll sound of the more fucking dark jokes.
yeah, man.
So,
Well, I like to hear,
really
like, it's cool to hear that, like, that's actually how you sort of went about it, because you see, like, a lot of bands sort of like, they maybe hit a circuit and they've got quite a rigid genre or whatever, and then you'll see them sort of go through that phase of like, well, these folk are digging this, these folk are digging this, and the set sort of changes and morphs. But you like actually went about it with like that intention. That's really cool. It was like, okay, right, let's get all these groups in, let's merge all this music. It's fucking genius. It's a really good idea.
It wasn't as quite as like genius as that, but as I said before, it was like we didn't care what the fuck we were doing in the first place, like for the medals, right? So we just started playing like how we felt and what was working. We'd rehearse in small groups. Well, at first it was big groups, but then people wouldn't make rehearsals. Like try to get a brass band together,
the crowd
a
down.
brass section together is a nightmare because they're like gold dust, right? So getting
I have a little experience there. God damn it.
So it was like trying the whole band together. So we would rehearse the choreo and then play these gigs. And then we sort of knew that there was like different people because we were rehearsing different stuff and weren't really sure where our music fitted in. Oh, we'll put in an original, we'll try this. We weren't recording that much. We're too busy playing live. And then that sort of became the ethos. Oh, like we're bringing different folk together. So it kind of happened just through the progress of it. It wasn't like, this is like what we're going to do. I wish it was like that. I would have done things a bit differently.
I guess that's kind of what I was saying is like, you do see a lot of bands like do that progress. Like my own bands have done that, and it's and then also, as you say, it's quite like most bands will take a hit going to a festival because, like, well, first of all, a free festival ticket to me personally is like the holy grail. I'm like, if you're gonna pay me to go to your festival, that's great, and like, but once you're in there, it's like a festival's kind of like the arteries of the music scene. And you get access to so many people that you would normally get access to. Then you can talk to them. You can share a pint with them. You might meet them on a crazy walk through the woods or whatever. But everyone's there in the one place. And the festivals for me are like not necessarily the moneymaker, but like they're what advance you through your like sort of career, if you will. And they'll allow you to sort of, you can gauge how you're doing in the scene, I guess, by like the sort of stages you can get onto at some of the festivals.
Oh, definitely, definitely, especially with Eden and like Kelburn in their early stages, because we got Phil was really good with us at the start because he had a lot of contacts like through Big Hand, and Phil done that with a lot of bands, by the way.
Yeah,
Not just us. Remember, like the Victorian Trout Conspiracy. I mean, like they started off with him.
Yeah,
I mean,
Ira Yo-Yo, he's helped out as well. Ira Yo-Yo, the reggae sort of band, James and that.
AC Red, loads of bands have played the Brickies and that.
I've been trying to get Phil on. He's a tough man to pin down.
Phil, man, like get
maybe chew his ear a bit for me.
I'll try and engineer that. Like I'll send him a wee wee message and see if he'll come on.
We nudge Baz or no? Baz has sent me a message. He's going to come on. He's
Oh.
coming on.
Definitely.
He's got some
Maybe
tunes
I
he's
will.
working on. I do apologise because our latency is quite bad tonight, people. So we will probably talk over each other a wee bit, but we'll try our best to manage it. But yeah, apologies for that. You mentioned when you were busking, that's what led to Brazil.
Mhm.
Was that just a random encounter on the street that ended up you getting a plane ticket out there?
Well, it kind of was, I suppose, because we were at that point. Just let me go back a wee bit.
Yeah.
To the point where we were busking, and we were going out busking for April, any good weather, all the way through to September. Now, what we would do is we started going out and we just started printing off our own CDs, and we were selling them at £3, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were like £3, and there wasn't a lot of takers. There were printed CDs. There were original artwork. Everyone was different and that kind of. Or we printed off some, just like 100 or something. We got 100 batch off the internet or off eBay, and then we just sat and done them all. Put them in wee plastic wallets, selling them at £3. And we're like, all right. And there's all these tourists around and that, and they're like, £3. I says to Paul, just bump it up to a £5, eh? As soon as we bumped it up to a £5, right, easy. It's a £5. Said there, aye, that one, mate. Aye, bum, 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 bum. You ought to see it, man. All right, now, right, okay. So you started playing the game a little bit there, right?
The psychology.
So, aye, it was like we were selling ourselves short, man. After that, we were like, fuck that. Like, just £5. Then it got to the point where we just done a wee EP, and then we got them properly printed up, and then we were going out, and we were playing like the Mound if we couldn't get there. In fact, it was during the festival we couldn't get to the Mound because of the assembly stuff and all that was there, and you had to go up to the St Giles Church and wait outside at 6 in the morning with guys that have got like Chris Kennedy's balls that like didn't move and all that, and like jugglers and that. I'm not taking anything away for that kind of art stuff, whatever. but like, but I'm just like, I just want a slot to play in my own tune, where we used to actually make money, and that was our kind of slot. You'd mix with the pipers and that, half an hour slots each, sometimes 45. You got a good piper, a bad piper, blah blah blah. So that was where we were. So like, we ended up going to the Grass Market, right outside Maggie Dixon's and all that kind of stuff. The last drop in that
Great
was square. Where they used to hang people, basically.
Aye.
Right in there, the last drop. So we set up there, right beside the phone box there, and we were playing most days, maybe about 3 or 4 hours, 3-4 sets, maybe half an hour to 45. And we done that, and we were selling these CDs that we got printed off all really nicely in that. We had it mastered by Aaron Dennington, that was in the drummer for the Miracle Glass. Gave him it to just be a wee mastering on because he was good in that. And it sounded really all right for like a homemade project studio gear situation.
Yeah.
Bit better than a bedroom, but not quite the full Ken Monty in that. So like we ended up selling a lot, and the guy was over for a Brazilian guy called Laerte was over, and he was from a place called Cultura Inglesa, which is a private school in Brazil, which teaches English. Right. It's private and it teaches English. And what they do, as well as they also provide British cultural experiences for the students. And he was invited over by the British Council, which is a cultural exchange kind of thing, to see what was happening in the Edinburgh International Festival. Now, he was probably going around different places to find out loads of great gigs and all these kind of tickets paid for him and all this kind of stuff. And he noticed us in the street playing. He kind of liked our vibe. But he never came up and introduced himself to us. He came up and bought a CD and then went away. Mm-hmm. Didn't even meet him, as far as I remember. I don't know if whoever sold him the CD, me, Matthew, Paul, we didn't recall at the time. Because there used to be a big queue for CDs. So we'd be like, after the gig, thanks very much. We had the megaphone and all that, keeping it really raw. Cello, megaphone, flats, drum kit. You remember the flat drum kits that didn't really, you could pack them up on your back.
I've got one over there.
Have you? Aye. Did Paul sell you that by any chance?
No, I inherited it off a flatmate. Yeah.
They're quality behinds, but great for busking, great to get from gig to gig, and also the street stuff. So festival happens end of August, and I get an email through. All right, no bother. All right, what is this? It's Laerty. We are from Cultura and Glazer. We really liked your outfit in the Edinburgh Festival, and we'd like to invite you over to Brazil and São Paulo to play for our students over there and stuff. And we're like, is this like for fucking real or whatever? Like, what, all expenses, like flights and all that kind of shit. We were like, all right, check this out. So me and Paul get together, and Paul starts getting a bit more research into it, and we're like, that's fucking legit, like,
Man.
Next thing you can, like, Paul's away down to London sorting out the visas, and we're like getting ready to go away, and we're like, what the fuck? And that was the September, and it was for like the year after, which was the sort of April, May kind of time.
So what, like maybe sort of 7-8 months between getting the email and actually going out there?
Yep.
Fuck. That's so cool, man. And shows you like that's like off a busk.
Off a busk, man. And then honestly, man, like they treated us like so well. We got there was flights, it was like sure it was KLM or something like that. And then they flew us to we went through Schiphol and all that kind of stuff. Oh, like was it I can't remember. Ended up over there. That's because I was pretty drunk on the flight, I suppose. Sorry, Paul. Anyway, couldn't believe it was happening until it actually happened. Woke up in Brazil and like, oh yeah, right. We've got a guy waiting on us, like at the airport with a taxi.
With a name.
Like a Vito, like 7-seater kind of minibus taxi kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like a 7-seater. Drives us to this hotel, 4-star hotel. We're in there. We get per diems every day. Like good money, like what you would need to survive every day. As we fucking kicked in Brazil, that's when the big riot starts and everything like that. They were going mental about bus fares and all this sort of stuff, and there was a big turmoil that we didn't get into till later. We were playing schools during the day, getting up at 6 a.m, playing schools during the day. We'd do a wee gig in the morning, and this was for 3 weeks non-stop. And then it had his own headline slots in different places around. We'd have maybe 1 or 2 days off during the week. Playing venues all around these places.
That's so crazy. Like
Sao Paulo, like the Liquid Room size, man.
That's crazy.
300 to 400 venue, and we're headlining. We're like, what? We were just busking, man, and playing binkies.
Mm-hmm.
No shit, man. I'll tell you some funny stories. We're in the subway, right? And there's my face on like one of these revolving like sort of billboard screen things, right? In the subway. Cultura and Glazer. And it's like,
really?
I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is like, do you want
was that like, so you're like,
I just had a wee boy as well. I was like, oh man, like, oh, come here, just move everybody here. The funniest one was we were going to, I believe it was, we played the first out of town gig was a place called Sesk, and it was a place called Santos, the home of Pele, right?
Fuck right.
Because São Paulo's high on the plain, right? It's really high. You got to go right down to the beach, so it's quite high up altitude-wise. So you go on this wee minibus and you're down and you're playing these places. Venue, which was a kind of media centre and a sort of arts place and that. And that's where Cultura and Glazer had some of their students and stuff. So we played there, and that was really amazing. Coming home back from there, we went to other places like Campinas. These are, you got to remember, the São Paulo in the city is pretty intense and dense. It's like 20 million. I didn't know what the whole state is, but 20 million and close by. Don't know what the full population is, the whole state. Paul will tell you that. But it's huge, man. It's a huge state, right? So we got to all these places in the suburbs in the state. A place called Campinas, and different venues called Hocus Pocus that are really cool, and that all these other bands that are backing us up in that, and all the kids going there, and like, and some of them are over 18 and all that, and as well, and like, and all their family were coming to see, and we were going down the highway in the bus. I want a hangover for hell, right? So I'm lying back, right, and then I just hear somebody going. I was like, we took a couple of pals with us as well, like James Rutherford, who was doing a lot of the sort of merch stuff for us and sort of liaison stuff for us and that, while we were just sort of just chilling out afterwards. And a guy who was doing film with us, Brendan McCarthy, we're on this wagon, we're going down it, and all I hear is like, "Wake up, billboard Baggins," eh? Huge billboard, man, at the side of the highway, man, eh?
What the fuck, mate?
Aye, no shit, man, eh? No shit. I was like, fuck this, I'm going back to sleep. I can't handle this, man.
That's
Mental.
the coolest
It's
thing
like
ever,
coming to
man.
Boston to that. Honestly, I could write a fucking book on that shit. It's crazy, man. It's like, it was so weird, man.
That's like something out of a fucking movie, mate. Like, especially
It's
because you're
mental.
like, you're waking up for like a Scottish hangover in another country, and then you're getting faced with like you're past like 6 by 8 foot on a billboard. What
Is
the
that,
hell?
maybe
And was that
by me if that's all right, you know?
was
Is
that
that all right? You just
promoting?
make your face as big as it's ever been. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it, hell.
Like, did they just grab photos off the internet or something?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody took a photo of it or that. Like, I don't know. I'd need to check that. I've not really looked at it, like, to be honest, but
That's pretty crazy.
it wouldn't just a dream. I think I've got people that will like concur with me here. Like, but oh man, it was mental. It was really just something else. And even that, after that as well, because we done really well, we're playing these schools, and a lot of kids for the favelas as well. One of the remits of these schools is they had to have kids for like backgrounds that weren't as you know, like as rich as these guys, and that they could put their kids into a private school to do these things. So you have kids coming for the favelas and that, and then they were like, they were just wanting some strings off us and some picks and all that, and like Paul gave them the drumsticks and that, and all this kind of stuff. Felt like we were like on Comic Relief or something. And it was like, what is this, man? Eh? And then people asking for your autograph and that. We were like, what? This is fucking nuts, man.
That's so
then,
cool.
After that, we done that well, eh? They said we got a phone call. We were all like about to like leave and that to go to Rio before we left, because we booked our flights from Rio so we could catch a wee bit of that. And we got a call basically saying, look, we've got some good news for you and that. And these people took us out for good meals and everything like that. Honestly, like, they treated us like the best. How you would want to be treated, like, we'll get into that sort of Brexit stuff and like music and all that stuff a wee bit later and that, and like people coming here and that, and how they would be treated. Wouldn't it be like this, man? Honestly, like, so open-hearted, so kind, so great, so really thankful that we were there. You know what I mean? And the fact that we had kilts on and all that as well just went like 1,000 miles, like, Ken, in terms of
do it, fly the flag,
like,
fuck
they love that stuff. But we had the black kilts, no colour, and like, you know what I mean? So anyway, digressing a bit. So we got invited to play the main stage that they put on for all the kids and all the schools and that. They're invited to this big thing, which is in a big, in the centre of Sao Paulo. There's a big sort of concrete sort of concourse area. Can't remember the name of it. Big stage setup. I'm talking huge stage and that. Headlining was Kate Nash. Before her was the Magic Numbers. Before that was another band, but we were meant to go on before them. There was some sort of discrepancy between that. Anyway, we went on that stage, and it was like the first time on a huge stage. Like a huge stage. Roll on, roll off drum kit. Go on at 6 a.m, sound checking and that. Save your stuff and that. Like Google, like TV there and all that stuff and that. Mental, man, eh? And we ended up there. There's a few stories before that. Like the night before, I mean, Carol Barrett was on the tour,
Do it, man. I'm all ears. Just fucking go on all the tangents, mate. I'm strapped in.
Anyway, I'm going to round up that story anyway first.
Go for it.
The thing was, we ended up there playing on the stage without even knowing that we're going to be doing this. And we said, we're going to have to, like, you know, stay back another day before going to Rio. And they were like, how much do you want, like, to play this and that? We were just like, we were all scratching our heads and how much? What do you go into the low?
What do you charge,
So we went in at a reasonable rate, right? Let's put it that way. And and then we brokered the deal to get driven to Rio as well, which is really, really nice of them. And we got to play on a big stage and that, and like a huge stage, like.
That's a moment and a half.
But that was the thing. I thought because we were buskers, they would take us on this journey and just go, that's what we can do. This is what this country can do for, what our organisation can do for somebody that we just seen in the street that was over there, and I thought it was really cute and really nice and really fucking rock and roll. And I thought, aye, we were getting interviewed, me and Paul, honestly, for like fashion magazines. Our kilts were bought out like fucking kind of like Gold Brothers and that, eh? Black kilts. They were like, oh, what's all this with the kilts and all that? Hey, we were getting interviewed for like NME over there, the whole lot, man. I'm telling you,
Laughing it up. Like,
then
did they still?
What, oh man, like so we get to after that, we do the gig, go home. We end up at Caipirinha bar backstage and all that. Caipirinha is like the national sort of like cocktail over there. Needless to say, the whole band got suitably fed and watered, and we went back home, slept it off. Next morning, up to Rio de Janeiro, and we went in this place called Books Hostel. As soon as we walk into Books Hostel, you'll never believe this, man. There's the Discovery Channel, right, doing this thing in South America called Hostel Life, right? We walk in, Discovery Channel are there. There's meant to be a football game going on between two hostels. This guy's hostel, Books Hostel, and another hostel, right? Which was the Argentine hostel, right? Where all the Argentinian guys went.
Okay, so they've got like a league that they play against each other.
They had some sort of thing that they set up on Discovery Channel just to make it look like Hostel Life or something.
Cool.
We've walked in. We've named our clays because we couldn't get washing done or anything like that because we're gigging all the time. We're doing our merchandise now, right? And our merchandise before we went was a Brazil top with the Dark Jokes radio kind of thing on it, echo transmission. So we walk in looking like Brazil. 5 years walk in as a five-a-side team. He's getting interviewed at the same time, or trying to get all these American guys to join the team. They're like, I didn't play soccer and all that. And like, Ken, people feel like, I don't know, Australia and that, they didn't play soccer. Just as he's getting interviewed, we walk in, right? And he goes, aye, that's my team there. And we go, what? Like, all right, boys, we get roped into, this is the day before we have to fly home, right? Next day, no, it's 2 days after it. We go out the next day. We go to Copacabana Beach. We get more caipirinhas. We have a great day. We come back, right, all-nighter and that. Loads of good stuff and that. As you can imagine, you're in Rio de Janeiro, right?
Yeah.
Right? Right, so we end up getting a bus driver takes us down for Discovery Channel. This is right after all this stuff. Right down to like Copacabana Beach, and right next to the Copacabana Beach is this AstroTurf area, right?
Right.
So we turn up early, we're still hanging, right? Half of us have not been to a sleep, or anything like that. So we're on the centre spot, like Ken. They've turned up. It was like Sonic Train Spotting, man. They've turned up with football boots, Argentina tops on, fucking football boots and that, Ken, shin pads and shit, man. That kind of stuff. We're like, oh, here we fucking go. So we did like I think we done about an hour, eh? And they scored first, and then like James Rutherford, who's the guy we are, scored against them. So we held them to 1-1. And I think to the end they were trying to get something to go on with Brendan, the goalkeeper, and that he would walk off with two like birds that would go in, like Discovery Channel. They walk off and they would score at the end to go against this hostel. We were all sweating buckets. We had to get through there. And I stole a flag. We did the first thing. Anyway, stole this Argentine flag and that. I was like, we're taking that. So what happened? We got on the bus. They were driving us to the airport. Right through there, all sweaty after 3 weeks of being on tour. And this is our last clays that we've got on, is the Brazil tops that are our own merchandise. And we are sweating out. God
Just
knows
on a
what.
five-a-side football match.
No, whiskey, caipirinhas, cachaça, and all the rest of it. You can imagine it's Brazil we're in, right? Sweating it out, eh? We get on the plane and that, there's people next to us going, what the? We were just must have come in buzzing, eh? Like, just like, got on the plane eventually, go home, eh? But, aye.
How long was that flight?
Oh, and when we got home, we had to put binkies like 2 days later, eh? So we all turned up at binkies and we were like, what the fuck just happened there, lads? Like, what happened?
Like, fuck, man, there's a lot to unpack there. It's like,
sorry.
It's like, so that was like that was the first journey out. How long ago was that? It was like 8-9 years ago.
That was like 2012, I think, yeah.
Yeah. And so you've been out, have you gone out since and like received the same sort of like welcome as you got the first time, or was that just a sort of one-off crazy, like just so happened like these festivals were on and stuff?
well, we decided as soon as we got back that we had to get there as soon as possible again, right? Obviously,
aye.
aye. But then we left it a year, and the year after that, so 2 years later, we ended up going back, and we used some of the contacts that we made when we were there, because there was a lot of people who were not interested, and a lot of people that we met along the way. There's a lot of entourage and all that goes along with it. A lot of
Other
good
numbers,
friends.
aye.
And we done a sort of slightly, well, definitely reserved kind of tour, but it was still nice as well, because we played a lot of smaller venues and wee art places and that, sort of the equivalent of like sort of sketchy beats sort of place in Sao Paulo, like kind of like these wee kind of places, and that was really good, and playing in Irish bars and like wee sort of dives and all that kind of stuff, and that was good. It was a bit more intimate, and it was kind of a bit more sort of what we were used to, and before we went the first time, and it was good. So we knew where we were, and we were playing our original tracks, and the people in Brazil and Sao Paulo at the time liked it. So some people came along that remembered us, and kind of stragglers and that for the last time, and some friends that we met before, and so that was good, and I enjoyed that. The second time we went for 2 weeks, and then me and Jamie came back, and Paul and Stuart, who was there helping us out with just sort of logistics and stuff, they stayed on and went to Uruguay, Argentina, and done a bit more touring around the South America. But we done it. We went back again, and it was good. I like that.
Man, it sounds so good. That next time you're out there, I'm coming with you, by the way.
Aye. Well, and this is the thing though. Paul's out there, my brother now, and he seems to be doing some gigs and that, and seems to be enjoying himself.
Because it fucking must be crazy over there right now, because they just basically let the pandemic just rip through the entire country. It
would be hard for it not to. I mean, the health service over there and that. I mean, there is serious poverty there. I mean, Paul's told me about I mean, we never seen a lot yet, because when we were on the Cultura Inglesa tour, they tried to keep us away from this. You see.
You got like this sort of the North Korean tour, like here's the full supermarkets.
They wanted to keep us safe, obviously, like, you know. Whereas like we would sneak out at night and do crazy stuff, like, you know what I mean. At the time, I was telling you, the first time there was like the big political sort of marches that kicked off as soon as we kicked off. As soon as we landed there, it kicked off. So
did you have any nights where like you were playing and things did get out of hand, where like you maybe seen some guns or knives or things that you're that were sort of foreign to you? No, nothing like that.
Nah, I mean there could be dodgy stuff happening and that. You just need to kind of try your best not to get. It's hard not to over there, but I mean everybody was all right. I never seen anything that bad. There was a couple of wee incidents and that, but that's because we were wearing kilts, and these guys thought we were punks, and they were just out in the march, and they thought we were maybe for the sort of socialist side of things and that. They thought we were maybe like. There's two sort of sides there. There's a sort of corporate side that they wear all the Brazil tops and all the yellow and that, and we didn't understand that then. I didn't quite understand exactly how it is actually working now, because it's a big financial centre, Sao Paulo. Paul knows a lot about it because he's been back year on year since. It's very complicated. A lot of corruption basically that goes on there.
Yeah, they do a lot of the banking there as well, I believe.
Oh, massively. I mean, so Paulista Avenue is like where all the main banks are, like, you know, and that's like where the big marches were as well. And it happened.
Makes sense.
The first riot started because they were up in the bus fare or something like that, and then they just got up in arms about it, and that was the last straw.
That's kind of inspirational though, right? It's like, look at that, like the bus fare goes up and folk are in the street.
But it wasn't like that before. That was the last thing that cracked, because there was a lot of corruption. For ages there was no.
Really?
We kicked into Sao Paulo at the same time as we dropped. It kicked off. It was, you couldn't write it, man. So they were saying to us, they were advising us to stay in at night and everything like that. But you can't tell us to do that kind of stuff, man. We were like, well, let's see what's going on.
I think the Scottish accent. Do you think the Scottish accent helps as well? Like when I've been abroad and things have been a bit weird, I kind of lay on the accent a wee bit thicker, because I find folk generally are quite fond of Scottish folk. Was that the same in Brazil?
Yeah, definitely, because at first they think you're gringos, so they think you might be American. You see the kilts and that, and then they go past and you give them a wee sort of twirl on that, and they go like that, and you've got a beer in your hand, and they go, Escocese! And I'll tell you what, man, you think I ken the Irish think they can drink and all that. And Scots, I mean, we can have it. Wait, see the Brazilians, man. Wipeout, man. They're
Really?
here for breakfast. Oh, man, they are like, you ken Germans in Bavaria and all that. I really, lads, these boys, man, they can drink like fish, man. Honestly, like. And they
Like
want to get
spirits
you
too.
to buy your beer to show you how much they can drink better than you. It's brilliant. And you meet a lot of nice people, just even wandering a bit on your own. They're just like, Ken, we're wearing the kilt. Definitely does break down that sort of gringo boundary that they think you might, because you're just sort of pasty white, you're not quite like them, you know? Because it's quite a massive melting pot, you've got to remember. There's literally like the colonial stuff that happens over there, and especially with the Portuguese, but then there's a lot of slavery with the Portuguese, and then you've got like the highest population outside Japan is in Sao Paulo and Brazil. You've got Japantown. You've not got Chinatown. You've got Japantown. It's mental.
Whoa.
It is,
man, it's like it's hard
so
to
good,
conceive
man.
of like places that big. Like, I mean, I've been a few places where I felt tiny, just because of the population size and just like, you know, like LA was one of those places. Even like Australia when I was a kid, just like the size of that place was just monumental. And especially as a kid, things are so much bigger anyway because you've had so little experience. But I've never been to South America. I'm desperate to go, but like that, man. The one thing I'm thinking is like, because the mass migration sort of happened in South America. It's happening as we speak right now. Everyone's moving north, and that's kind of happening across the whole world right now. All the locusts on the east, and then the fires, and everything else going on. Everyone's pushing up from Mexico and America, and then from South America up the way.
Yeah.
Did you feel a change like from like when you first went, like your first experience to maybe your most recent experience? Did you feel the place get busier?
When I was in Sao Paulo.
Yeah, just like personally, did you experience like that happening?
See, when I was first there, I was in a sort of sheltered sort of experience. Although breaking out a wee bit to see what was going on. Quite a lot of chaotic stuff happening, a lot of big change happening. 2 years down the line, kind of similar stuff happening. Still going up to Paulista Avenue. There was things happening there, protests every Sunday. Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of the sort of motorbike guys, like the big police guys and that, and they're all standing at the side. So we were kind of still, it was kind of similar, although a lot of things were probably changing. In terms of that, in terms of population movement and stuff like that, I didn't seriously notice a lot what that was happening because I was just in Sao Paulo itself for the second time, and that was it. I was only there 2 weeks. Yeah. Now, if you ask my brother Paul, he would definitely tell you the sort of almost decade story of at least 7.5 years of what changes have happened, and certainly since Bolsonaro's got in, and his relations and his relations with Trump and all this kind of stuff, that is certainly quite harrowing, and what's been happening with the rainforest and a lot of the stuff and a lot of the environmental stuff that's went right. All the legislation and the regulations went haywire and stuff, you know.
I'd like to talk. I'll definitely get Paul on. Maybe I could try and talk to him when he's in. Is he over there right now? Is he?
He is. But definitely. I mean, he now speaks fluent Portuguese. Like
what?
Aye.
Amazing.
He's been over that many. He's a brainy laddie. But the thing is, like he's been over a few times, and certainly he went over with Rory and that. He went over with Danny Apollinari, and they've spent a lot of time. And Paul's went back again, and definitely worked on his language there. Like, and he could certainly. Well,
that's cool.
Even when he came back to the time he was there 6 months, and he came back, he was. Wow, it was like he's certainly like learnt a lot. I think you need to spend like quite a good time and live in a place, kind of work around it, do your music there, play in different places, meet different classes and all this kind of stuff to actually establish that, and you know get to. He's always been kind of unerringly good at languages, but I'd need to spend a little kind of longer to actually get into that. But he's definitely now, after being there probably about 5 or 6, maybe more than 6, 7 times. So that's
really cool. Like,
he knows
it's quite appealing. think of it. So like when I think of that, it's almost like if I could speak another language and I could go somewhere like Brazil and just live that other life, like being a sort of like secret agent, like 007 almost, you know.
I wouldn't be surprised if
Super
the
cool.
CIA contacted him, to be honest. But the thing is, if we go back to the original story, it just comes to busking in the grass market. Now he can speak fluent Portuguese in Brazil. You know what I mean?
Oh
You
man,
know what I mean?
right, I'm
Well, it
cracking
comes to
into
the
Iron Brew.
smallest thing.
Sorry, excuse me a second. By the way, the rabbit is kicking about tonight. She's snuck in. She was supposed to be out. You'll probably see her jump up on the sofa. I'll get rid of her in a minute. Do you think you're going to go back out to Brazil then soon, man? Or are you? What's your plans?
I didn't see anybody going anywhere that soon, man. If you want to get any of that.
How the hell when did Paul go out, or has he just been out the whole time?
No. He went the 23rd of December just to go. He's visiting people there, I believe. And he got out. I think
That's crazy. He managed to get there. Brave as well, like to jump into the epicenter like that.
No, but he wants to go there. I mean, like fucking hell, it's summer there, like, you know. So
Oof. I'm a bit jealous, to be honest.
It's cool and that, and he's working with I believe he's working with a friend of yours, Icky, who's a great musician, great guitar player as well, great vocalist and that. And, we met a lot of good guys out there, like, honestly. Second time was when we met Hafa, and he came over and that. There's been an exchange between the guys and that, between Scotland and.
So the guys come over here as well, and.
Aye.
Cool. Have I seen any of those guys play here? Is that like fringe times or like?
No, they've played a few venues and stuff like that. Like during the festival, you might have seen them doing like the Cowshed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that rings a bell actually.
Kind of like if you got Hafa, like who's like he's kind of beardy guy. Sounds like he's got the best Irish Brazilian twang you've ever heard. Like
man, the amount of bands I've seen at the.
Me and Jamie met him. We went into this place that was like a sort of rock and roll joint, and he was just playing on like this beat up acoustic guitar, and he was doing the weight with the band. And he says he remembers it as me and Jamie just appeared like angels at each side of the mic. So when you went kind of in the band, when you did the harmony bit, like take a load off Annie, we just appeared like that. You take the road right on me or whatever. So after that, we just got on like a house on fire, and then like introduced him to my brother, and then Paul went back, and he came over, and there's been a sort of Brazilian connection ever since. So when the Scots go abroad, it's not as if we just go there like it's not just for Christmas, man. Like we end up dragging up the deep, you know.
Hell yeah!
Seeing what's
You up for coming out to Texas? I'm trying to put together a Scottish contingent out to Texas, to South by Southwest.
Texas, what you say?
Texas, man. Gonna go out there and shoot some guns.
God damn it! I got
play some
my
music.
boy in Texas. He lives in Austin. His name is Derek.
But yeah, I ain't listening like much.
God damn it, Dolores, come away from that cooker, Dolores.
It's my God-given right to shoot you in the ass and protect my family.
Protect my ass, protect my family, protect the flag, protect the Southern flag, protect the oil.
The oil is really important. We need to protect it. Nah, man. Like I want to go out to Texas. I want to go out to Texas with like a whole bunch, because the amount of fucking amazing bands in Scotland. It's just like give us a street with like 10 venues, and I'll put bands on in every one from Scotland. Imagine that, like just the Scottish Texas section. That'd be fucking sweet.
Aye, man, this is the thing though. It's like, you know, it's South by Southwest and all that. You've got all that sort of kind of
corpo shit
industry thing in that.
Aye.
You can't
the thing is though,
Creative Scotland used to give like grants for people that like maybe were sort of with some sort of deal because they're rich enough to give backhanders to sort of six music and that, and they could get pluggers to put all their stuff on and all that. Aye. Then they could get like a wee deal to go over and get like, all right, there's some venues going to put us on South by Southwest. Tell you what Creative Scotland done for us, man. Fuck all. We got like we got ourselves sorted out with the Brazil thing and everything like that, British Council and that. And what we asked for was enough money to have a generator so we could busk in the street in Brazil. That's what we wanted to do, is just go to that level. We didn't ken it was going to be all these gigs in that, but they turned around and we put in an application for it and everything like that. We're like, nah. See, the thing with Creative Scotland, man, you've got the deadlines to apply for everything and that. Honestly, all these grants, they're all marked for people that they know. If you look at Out of the Blue, the drill hall and everything like that in Leith, right? Remember I opened up Off the Walk and all that? It was like a bar, street food and all this stuff on Dalmeny Street.
I mind you, yeah.
And they were next door. You ken the people, they get grants. The people that go through there and all that, they Leaf Late and all that kind of stuff and that. Kind of like 10,000 quid budget just to like walk people around Leith and like put projections on and that. Come on, man. Like honestly,
it's a total different world to me.
All this stuff, it's already earmarked, all this money, man. They just do it to put it to tender, just to make it fair for everybody. These companies that work within the sort of Creative Scotland, they're corporate and all, man. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck about people who are doing stuff on ground level. Honestly, man, they know the people that they want to give the money to, and it's all schmoozing in the art scene, man. Eh?
That's so shit if that's the case, like, because it makes, you know, like, especially at the moment, folk are needing a bit of help, and like even having that bit of hope, being like, okay, well, I can apply for this. But I have heard, like, I know tons of folk that have applied for stuff and not got a thing, and I know a handful of folk that have got it as well, which always gives me hope. But I think you're probably right, man, when it comes to things, especially when it's money going into creative arts, is like everyone's looking to do stuff and everyone's got ideas, and if they know that these people are a surefire bet, or like they're going to be more reliable, then maybe I don't know how it works.
But how come, like, this is my question is, like, how come the same people get the money all the time as well that I've found? Like, it's like, surely it's meant to be like a sort of lift up. You get it once, then it's somebody else's turn.
Yeah, that, I mean,
again, for these kind of things, I think it's just like, why the same people, why the same sort of circuits, like, like these ones. It's schmoozy pooshy.
Although I did hear some good news.
I'm not better about it. I've always done my own projects off my own back, so tried to apply for these things, and then like, I'm like, fuck that, I'll do it myself.
Nah, fair enough. I did hear some good news though, because I had Paul Montague on the other night, and we were talking about the venues, the Monster Glue. He had some fucking stories. Like, recommend that if you haven't heard it, folks. It's on YouTube.
Is that up? Did you interview him?
It was like we did 2.5 hours or something the other night.
I've not been on Facebook or that.
Nah, don't worry, mate. Like, they're all there for the rest of mankind.
Jesus, he is a funny guy. He is really funny. He broke my fucking hand.
I know he actually brought that up.
Did he?
Well, let me tell you the good news first, and then you can tell me the broken hand story, because he was like, he told me to ask you. Right. But anyway, we were on about Henry Cellar Bar, and I was like, well, should we do a fundraiser? Like, how's it doing? I'm not sure how some of the independent venues are actually getting on, and fuck knows how this like Save the Venues money actually gets cut up and shared about. But then Claire actually messaged me from Henry's and said that the Save the Venues folk have been amazing. They've managed to get some money and like managed to pay their way, and she's put an application in for some other for some other funding. And she looks cushy, at least for now. But obviously, I told her if things are looking ropey at any point, let's just do some sort of fundraising event online or whatever. But it seems like the money's actually making it out to the venues, which is really nice, the independence. But if anyone knows or hears of, again, not even just venues, but like cafes, little shops that you like that are maybe just not wanting to say they're struggling. Like, if you find out, let's do something for them, because if we lose them now, they won't be able to come back. We've got a wee opportunity to actually probably help folk through it.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah. But anyway, right, how did you break your hand? Or how did he break your hand?
I was at the fireside. And VMS were playing. Okay, the Violent Mood Swings.
Baz's group.
No.
Is it?
Baz. Danny Apollinari, my brother. Rory. Ken. The guys. So I decided just to get into the gin and all that, and like me and Paul, Paul Montague, they decided to have a game of peanuts, peanuts. No forgetting that he's a fucking into his fucking martial arts, and he's like twice the height of me, and he's quite a jumpy cunt, like Ken, like that. And he's just went out, and you just heard it crack, and I was like, oh fuck. So I've went a bit all night, but I'm still drinking with this one hand, my hand's just growing, over the whole night, It's like, you might want to go to the fucking doctors about that. I was like, nah. I ended up going, but all I had to do was just, this is all they did, is just put your two, because I broke the top knuckle there. You just put your two, you just strap it like that. That's all you'll get. You can wait for hours in A&E, and that's what it is, just put a bit of tape in it. But the thing is that I can tell you a story about Monster Glue. Anyway, like we'll go back to that. How did you go into that subject anyway?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you how anything comes up on this podcast. It just goes wild.
I'm interviewing Aaron. Oh, there he is.
I think it was, yeah. I'd mentioned you, and then yeah, he was. Yeah, it came up.
He's brilliant. I remember one night we were working at Ipsos Mori, and we had a flat next to it built with my mum and dad's Victorian townhouse, Georgian townhouse, I'll have you that, on the links.
Aye.
No, it wasn't all that. It was just a building site, mate. And then we've done it up and sell it off, but we never got to live in it. It's great. So brilliant. Anyway, we'll go into that. So we're there. They've just got to Ipsos Mori, the opinion research place, and that. They all used to just use my house as a toilet, my mum and dad's house. And Paul's just been on I don't know what the fuck's he been on, some stuff and that. He's came into the house. I've been mixing just sort of wee beats and that sort of stuff. I had Reason at the time, and so I was messing with the beats. He came up the stairs. He's been in the toilet, and he was hawking up some shit. I was like, what the fuck is happening, man? Kind of long hair and that, kind of spewing his hair and everything like that, man. I was mopping him up and that. Listen, man, just chill in my bed for a bit and that. I looked after him and that. Aye. And gave him loads of water, looked after him, nursed him and everything like that.
That's a good...
That's just my wee hang back at him there. So we'll leave it at that.
It takes good friends to do that. I remember one night I was a bit worse for wear. I was in Banshee Labyrinth, and I met some folk that I'd met at Linky Lee Festival, and they were like, here, have a wee bit of this. I didn't ken what it was. And ended up 2 hours later, I was spewing in the toilets of Banshee Labyrinth, and they'd given me ketamine, and I was already really, really, really drunk. And so it didn't go down well, and it was Stephen Mackay, Fortune Promotions, and he's going to come on the pod soon, hopefully. Stevie boy fucking found me outside, and he seen me. He was like, you're not looking too good. He had a flat round the corner, and he took me up. And I remember he had turtles or fish. And obviously the ketamine had kicked in pretty big style by now, and I was just looking into this fish tank, just staring at these fish for fucking hours, just coming back to normal. I was like, how dare those people fuck me up so bad?
So
thank you, Stephen.
Why the fuck would
no
idea. You end up with that? What's that, Ken?
Loads of the kids do it. They go out with Ket to clubs. And I don't understand.
Was it pit? Where was it pit? How did you ingest it? What the fuck?
They had it in one of those the caps things where you just
Coke or something.
Aye, and you just click it, and yeah. Oh my god, that fucked me up bad. That was horrible.
Fuck that. Ken, I've had situations where I thought I was having coke, and it's been either a lousy letdown, you know what I mean? It's just oh fuck, it speeds, right?
Or it's a fucking Rennie.
or I'm in a situation where it's oh fuck, it's 2CB. Whoa!
Oh no!
Oh, here we go. And then well, if you're lucky, but you know what I mean. But that's usually a nice person that would do that. Ketamine, however, is kind of in between. What I mean, that's not my kind of druggy choice in any.
I mean,
I'm getting unless I'm in a motorbike accident, but I don't drive a motorbike. You know?
I mean, it's nice to go a bit fear and loathing and every now and again, but I like to do it by choice, preferably.
Aye, well, usually, if you want to take the fucking adrenochrome, then Ken, you got then you do. There is a choice in it, you know.
Adrenochrome.
Hi, Lindsay.
No, she's gone on about the deep state.
Hi, Stuart.
Oh shit. Hiya, how's it going, Lindsay? You're right.
I'm talking about the Fear and Loathing sketch.
There's some
Jesus.
dark stuff happening.
Now that she's gone on a bit like that.
Oh shit.
Deep
Well,
state.
you know, I'm all ears. Deep state, hit me up.
Oh, it's getting. It's dark. It's a dark scenario, but it'll all come true.
Have you had Martina on yet?
Media soon.
No, I asked her on ages and ages ago, and then she got banned off Facebook.
Oh, get Martina on, man.
And everyone went a bit crazy for a bit, and started deleting everyone. And I was like, oh god, oh god.
What's all that about? Well,
I don't know. It's just like, I mean, the problem is we aren't talking to each other, eh? That's the problem. We're just writing it on a like post and putting it up, and then we're off on it to each other without even actually looking in each other's eyes.
Well, that's the other thing though, is like it's like it's good to actually like have physical like sort of like auras about and all that. I'm not going to get
help,
into all that, but it's just good to feel like somebody's energy that's there, and just to
Definitely.
actually bounce that off and actually feel it instead of just like typing for ages. Oh fuck you! How long does it take you to actually? How much brain cells are you wasting trying to find out all these silly facts that people are putting in your mind to try to say whether or no Trump is the president or he is not? Or
It's
something
mad.
like that.
There's a lot of stuff
Like,
happening.
whoa. See, this is I knew how it would do.
You know, I want to write as like a country song, like a Willie Nelson tune called "The Keyboard Warrior." I think it needs to be a country tune, though. You know, like proper, like Neil Young. You got it? Yeah, hit me.
I've got
The Keyboard Warrior. What's the Keyboard Warrior? Type things all day. Nice low voice.
In the background there.
Mate, just send me some chords, like record it. I'll send you some lyrics back over it, and then we'll make a tune. We'll release. Do you want to write it together, the Keyboard Warrior?
Let's write the Keyboard Warrior.
I'm writing a few tunes now with folk by sending the emails to and fro, and it's actually quite a lot of fun.
Aye,
It's like musical whispers.
that's cool.
Mate, that was cool. I love that guitar. Is that your first ever guitar you had? Is that
No,
newer?
this belongs to Lindsay Pooh. And this
Oh, is that nice?
This is a homemade guitar by a local luthier, and it sounds like so like me and Chris call it the Union Canoe, and it just sounds like, "Hey, get your boys out of Gettysburg. Let's see what happens. We get a State of the Union speech right now. President Lincoln's coming right now."
It sounds lovely.
Lord Warrior. In them days, it didn't really happen like that. We eventually got ourselves out of Gettysburg after the smoke cleared out. Then we headed down back to Texas and took our Confederate flags, and we slept under the flags ourselves until some motherfucker woke us up one day and said, "It's all right to have guns. Let's all go up to the capital city." And then we marched on Capitol. Then we took our horns and we took our camouflage and took all our guns, all our dum-dums and everything we had. We headed up north and we tried to get it all over again. Oh, little old Lee. Oh, here we go.
God damn it. Bye, Gumbo.
Bring young Anna Lee, please, with you, if it's all right. I can't sleep with her at night. I can't sleep with either at night. I can't sleep with either at night. I can't wait to get home and see little Joanna Lee. But I'm missing her so much, and she misses me. I can't believe it. How about the Union boys? They stood there out Gettysburg and waited till the smoke cleared. Shot damn farm boys down. I'm from Boston. Well, it's the state of
I believe there's something brewing. It will be fine. Woo-hoo. It will be right. Rock and roll state of the union. Yeah, something brewing. I believe that something is you.
Oh yeah, that was gorgeous.
Anyway,
There we go.
I'm just using this Union guitar right over here. Someone had made it right close to me, but I don't care. I'm just talking about how it is and how it used to be. Anyway, what the fuck? Sorry,
It's fine, man. It's good
we
to
all
meet
know that-
someone who's got the same mentality as me.
Do you ever get these things when you're cooped up all day like a chicken in a
Aye.
battery fucking pen? And then like you get these like sort of like sparks of just madness, eh? That you just go ah, and you just return back to normal again. It's just like, oh.
I do a lot of talking. Like when I first got my animals, I felt a bit weird talking to them, but now I actually just have full blown conversations with all the animals every day. If I didn't have it, I don't know what to do. Like, and then the rest of my days spent looking at folk on screens, and then I'll go to I'll just switch my living room and my bedroom, my kitchen up. Like I'll put the TV in another room, or like I'll move fucking shit around. Just be like, aye, just to set time, be like that was January to March, right? But now the TV's from April to May, June. I'll probably put the TV back in here because this room's quite big, mate, and it gets really cold.
Oh, you got flare boards there, right?
Got it's all carpeted in that, eh? But it's this old, super old. Like you should see the place. It's called the Douglas Building Hotel, and it's this super duper old hotel, and it's got one of those steel cage elevators in the middle. Like
what the fuck? What the fuck's that?
And it's got like this beautiful, what do they call it?
Where is
like
it?
In Gala Shields.
Gala, man,
Aye.
that's amazing. You should write an album called that, as if it's like like the Chelsea Hotel or something.
It's like it gives me like I swear to God, when I come in the bottom, I'm expecting to see like the red butler and like the red, the red sort of like velvet clothes with a hat on. Aye, like I'd love if I had enough money, if I got like fuck you money from like a single or something at some point, like if somebody wants to Amy Winehouse a song of mine, then I would buy this hotel and I'd turn it into like the Blue Drill Hall for Gala.
No, you turn it into like the sort of artists in AIA, like artists in.
What would you say is like you've got your space down in, is it Granton you guys are? That's amazing. How long have you that a new space or is that just refurbished recently?
I've been doing a bit refurbishment since lockdown, but we've had it for about 10 years. So
it's fucking cool as hell, man. I've not actually been and seen it. Like I can't believe I've not been doing that.
It's like there's a lot of rooms for different artists and all that kind of stuff. We made it really affordable for like people. So with all this sort of regeneration of Leaf and all the stuff that happened, like doing Leaf Walk, especially with like Alan Moffat's studio gone and all that kind of stuff, and all these places and that kind of like the arts complex at Meadowbank and all that, they're like doing tiny wee rooms like for like fucking 200 a month and that. We're giving people like a good space next to the harbour, all this kind of stuff. It's a really good place. If you can be asked going down there in the middle of winter, that's the difference. But I mean, I'm just
if you've got a car, have you got any spaces left or is it full now?
There might be a few spaces and stuff like that, but like at the moment, a lot of people are the purse strings are quite tight, for everybody. So
understandable.
Good pod lads, laughing a lot from Baz.
Yeah, Baz is tuned in. I see. Let us know when you want to come on, Baz. Can't wait to chat to you, bud.
I get on there, man. Me and Baz as well. Like we've done a couple of things over like the lockdown thing and that. Like a couple of things. We went down to Alan Moffat's and that today. A wee bit of recording there. That was really good. We also done a thing for Ruby Tuesdays. You can Alan Moffat used to have the place above the depot. It was a recording studio. Leaf Recording.
Ah, is that Alan Moffat? Right. I've not talked to Alan. I've heard his name a lot though.
Ah, he's alright. We went down to, he's got a wee place in the sticks and that was really nice. Me and Baz like had a wee couple of days sabbatical, as you'd call it. It was good to actually just strum some guitars, man. Honestly, me and Baz would be just content, not even writing songs, just like strumming guitars together, just to like I think we're gonna like make a band called the Yummy Mammies, because we're big Yamaha guitar fans. Like the guitar my dad left me was a Yamaha.
Nice.
For the early 80s, late 70s.
There's something. It's just nice though, like you say, even just strumming a guitar. Like I've really been missing it. I mean, I'll rehearse 2-3 times a week, sometimes plus the gigs at the weekend, and then to go to nothing at all has been strange as hell. But even just ding ding. It's a nice feeling.
Totally. Like that's the thing. Just be having the folk around you to do that way. Eh? You're starting to watch films and you see people together. You watch gigs and there's loads of people standing and bouncing. I'm starting to watch going back to watch just like Cypress Hill gigs and Rage Against the Machine gigs, just where everybody's just like, you're like, what? That's just alien. It's amazing how like people have just been turned in the course of a month. Eh? How easy was that? Eh? Give them Netflix, give them even the start of the internet. Let's look at that, right? Suddenly, information is for everyone. Whereas before, you had to go through the certain rules and regulations and qualifications to get to their libraries where you can get what is being scientifically proven or what you can think or what the differences are and all the different conflicts agreements.
And what's the guy's name? Aaron Squarts.
Bam! There you go. Cool. There you are. Everybody goes to fuck it. And this is great. And you go to wonder right then when you look back, what's that for? Like, I mean, it's to create and divide, eh? Like, and then things become over time like polarized, eh? Even they're polarized.
Yeah, I think it's weird though. Like
every identity becomes polarized, so people aren't even allowed to have any identity whatsoever. It's crazy stuff.
It's interesting. It's a weird sort of like, it's counterintuitive in a way, and there is like a battle going on in the internet, I feel, and like what you're saying there is like the polarizing, dividing aspect of it, and the algorithms literally gaming us against each other. But then like at the same time, there is still this technology that connects everyone, and information that was not available to people about their histories of their country and everything like that are all at their fingertips now. And so like that data dump is still happening as we speak into the minds of people that have been restricted of information for their entire lives. And so like I see like the folk are being pitted against each other, but then there's also this like mass like data dump of like, here's the fucking history of the world, people. Have a look.
I meant it in the sense, say like, I agree with like freedom of any information, but the way it gets used though, and the way it gets presented by what social media platform you're on and what you're using and everything like that is very calculated, and it's been calculated for a way back, like I think.
Yeah, it's like the taps, like the information's all there, but the taps that people need to use to get their information are like the Facebook tap, the Twitter tap, the Instagram tap, and all those are gamed against us. And they're the robots that like run those fucking things literally want us to argue with each other because it keeps us on the platform longer. That being said, you can still like that. All information's still there. Ideally, you want to try and avoid getting it through one tap or like.
Yeah, exactly.
Ideally, I use Reddit a lot. I like Reddit specifically because it has comment threads, and again, there's fucking loads of crazy people on Reddit as well. But with comment threads, at least you can have conversations. Lots of people can talk about whatever the fucking headline is, and you can get an idea what's actually going on. It's quite nice. Like you don't get that from reading a newspaper. Even you're just getting one person's
No,
Frame
but like
frame of mind.
even if you like, I don't know, Ken, if you like Noam Chomsky, for instance, and all that kind of stuff, like coming through the area where you see what's going on, and then you look at like what is actually happening, and it used to be just tabloids, and it was like media, and the news was on at 6, and that was all you got. So you were like kind of, now it's 24/7, eh? Like see, and it's 24/7, like multiple everything, eh, all the time. This is the thing though. My point is it's like it becomes like this cacophony, eh, all the time, like, you know. But if you want to really, what I like to do is like listen to as much of it as I can. So some people like might criticize me for watching Sky News, but I'm fucking Batman, man. I need to have Sky News on in the background. I need to see what's happening. I need to see what BBC is saying. I need to see what Sky News is saying. I need to see what Russia Today is saying. I need to see what Al Jazeera is saying. I need to see what ITV is saying. Then I'll turn over at 7 o'clock for Channel 4 News. But Jon Snow, can't work that. See what's happening. Then I'll watch, after that, you get a wee bit of a break. And then you'll have Question Time on BBC. Then you'll have, like, what's his name? That guy that does the stuff on ITV. See, bring it all together and see what's happening. And they all in the mainstream media seem to be driving the same narrative. You know what I mean? Before the pandemic, it was just Brexit, this, that. Before that, it was like, oh, like, remember Scottish independence and all that kind of stuff. And that's like, now they're all bringing it back, and like, the idea, like, fucking hell, man.
Mate, I hear you. It's
nuts, man.
It's a noisy world. It's hard to, like, I do the same. I try not to, I don't do it all the time though, but like I'll turn on all the taps occasionally and just drown myself in fucking everything.
Just
and what I feel is like
vibration is like, you know, and just go,
there's like a general like human trait is like we can all agree on fundamental truths, and I think if you can access and that is as much of the information as possible, your like sort of backbone as a human should be able to hopefully tell you what's fundamentally true about all that shit you just took in, and you should be able to walk away with an opinion that's your own and not some parroted thing that you've heard on the radio.
That's a guy who just said it right. Like, this is the thing as well. I will listen to, like, at night before I go to sleep, I'll listen to Alan Watts, man. I just listen to Alan Watts. I like listening to Alan Watts. He brings me a bit of comfort and meditation.
Love his voice,
like,
mate.
Aye. Like, but the thing is, it's not just that. I listen to, like, Ram Dass and things like that. Just things that are just going to take you this sort of material situation, put it back a wee bit, reset it a wee bit, see what's happening. You're looking at screens all the time, man. It's insane. The other thing is as well, Ken, what's really good, by the way, if you really want to chill out, watch the snooker, man.
I love snooker, mate. My uncle's he was semi-pro. I used to go watch him. I watched him play against Stephen Hendry and Dennis Taylor on charity gigs. It was great, mate. Fucking great. I love snooker, mate. Especially when someone farts in the crowd when it's super quiet.
Oh man, you liking this like fake clap that's happening in the snooker now, eh? Ken, I didn't
Is that what's happening? Before. Oh no.
Oh, they do the fake claps and that. It's like.
Oh no.
Oh, Ken.
Like, what was it? Do you mind when they did? It was like Red Dwarf came back and they put canned laughter on it, and it was just fucking terrible. It was awful.
What was that? Canned laughter. It was like,
not for Red Dwarf. Oh no, sorry. It was the other way around. I apologize.
No, it's the other way around.
They had it. They had it for ages, and then.
You like the heads up? Aye.
They pulled it out, and then it was silent Red Dwarf jokes, and it just didn't work. That was sorry, got that the wrong way around. But man, weird.
But the thing is, like, I think humor should go with it. See, sometimes
it's hard to say.
If you comedy writing is very hard, I suppose. But if you were to do like a series of like sketches or anything like The Fast Show or Chewing the Fat or something like, you know, like Ken, Monty Python and that, they always had the clap in the background. Ken, there is that sort of thing that like some people just need a wee kick on to get it. I don't know. It's kind of weird, eh?
There's a time and a place. Time and a place. What's your like go-to stand-up? Like, who do you fucking think is killer on the mic for stand-up comedy? Stand-up comedy.
Dylan Moran is fucking good.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
He is. He actually cracks me up. Over the last couple of years, like Dylan Moran's like fucked me up, like really laughter-wise. Actual out loud laughing.
He's class. He is class. Yeah.
Still Billy Connolly, I suppose, but you know, and sometimes he's so far off the mark. It's like is he just taking acid? Is he off the drink or is he on the drink? I don't know. I watched the recent Kevin Bridges one and it's like because he done like 30 odd nights sellout
in Glasgow,
in the Armadillo or whatever the fucking was, like Ken, like
Madness.
I mean that is huge for that guy his age, like, you know what I mean?
How
but
old
you
is
can
he
tell
again?
the one that they done the DVD on, he's really too articulate, and he's like it's almost like it's no free flowing like Billy. And Chris showed me like Chris Buckley. There it is. Hello out there. Hi there.
Hello there, Chris.
He was showing me some Bill Hicks, and I used to think Bill Hicks was nippy, eh?
Yeah. I watched a lot of Bill Hicks as a teenager, and it's sort of like I think it's sort of it hit my tuning fork quite good early on. I was like, I was like, right, cool.
Understand, but like Ken, just sort of nippy. Doug Stanhope.
Ooh, he's one of my favourites, mate. He's fucking ruthless.
Oh, like, I like that.
Have you seen that set he did where he's wearing the like sort of yellow tartan sort of like suit jacket?
Aye, the black and white one or the other one? Like, oh, no, I ken that one.
I think it's in colour, this one.
And he does like baseball top on.
Aye, and he does this half an hour bit about how him and his mates literally sat around his mother's deathbed and roasted her as she was dying.
Oh, aye, I've seen that. That is
the most insane skit, but it's hilarious. It sounds terrible, but watch it. It's fucking and only he could do that.
So it shows you the way he was brought up, and that's the way he went. Yeah.
Fucking wild, like
no, but
it's so beautiful as well. It's
himself there a bit, as well, like Ken, like how their humour was, because sometimes around your family, you know what I mean, your humour can be a bit more darker and sort of closed. But this is what our family's meant to be like. But when we're on our own, it gets fucking dark as fuck. Like,
it's like laugh or cry, and I think laughing tends to be a bit better.
Like my mom come out with the most racist thing ever, and you're like, what the fuck? And you're like, no, I wasn't. Fucking get on with it. Kind like that kind of thing. It's just like, oh, you fucker. I mean, you can't say that now. He's like, oh, fuck off. You have never been on strike. And things like that. You're like, what? All right. Jesus Christ, I thought you were like C&D and fucking like, and all that. Okay, so the first time she ever had a joint was in the fucking 90s. Sure, she had an echo right after it. Chilled her right out.
Jink, we'll see, like, I thought that when all the restrictions ever came in, that, like, there was going to be some, like, crazy illegal rave scene pop up or something, but to be fair, everyone's been really good, I think, and, like, the police have been on it as well.
It was all psytrance and that doing Portobello Beach. I went down once, I lost my way. Eventually the game. I got thistles jagged trying to come up. I was like, it was terrible music. It was horrible. It was just a lot of lost fucking colourful people that weren't even colourful. That's why they were wearing colourful things. I remember people that actually wear colourful things. They can fuck off, man. Like, seriously. Fuck the colourful shit, right? It's like, oh, right, I'm so fucking serious that and serious. Right, listen.
Nothing wrong with serious B.
Listen. No. I tell you, this is my interview, right? Right, no. The thing is, it's like, all right, I used to go to techno nights. Look at my fucking grey hair, Jesus. I used to go to
techno nights, pal. Back in the day, man.
I used to be an activities organiser in an all folks home, and I used to have to play them like, it's a long, long way to Tipperary. Now I'm like that, like, if I'm in an all folks home and I'm getting older, if there ever is an all folks home, it's going to be got any Jeff Mills, mate.
Oh man!
Got any Claude Young for the Detroit era, fucking circa like 92 when he's moving out of deep house into like fucking minimal techno. Any Plastic Man, mate? Ken, fuck your drum and bass in the jungle. Oh man, I fucking kent the Amen break is fucking when you were fucking just knee high to a grasshopper.
That is funny. I never thought of that.
Ken, what I
So
mean?
like the
Or
OAP homes when we're like
You wanna
80,
get it?
90 years old, they'll all be
Aye.
like, you'll take an iPod in, but they'll be like listening to like fucking Cypress Hill.
Oh no,
That's
you take your
the
iPod
golden
in.
days.
They'll bring in old things, like Ken, like show and tell and that. They'll bring in these things that they've bought off the internet, like that'll cost about 450 quid, and it'll be the first iPod, and they'll throw it in front of people in an old folks home, and they'll go, I remember when we used to have fingers. John Wheel. My arthritis is doing much better now, eh?
Back in the good old days.
Fuck put on fucking Fleetwood Mac. Ken?
Mate, man, I don't, because life's going really quick these days, and like we're gonna be in that fucking home before we know it, man. It's coming. It's coming.
We're fucking earning them.
I guess so, aren't we? This is it. I'm fucking sick of these fucking walls, mate. I think if this is it, mate, I'm gonna definitely try and move to somewhere nicer.
Right, okay.
A country house, please. Somewhere where I can like bury a shipping container and be one of these nuclear doomsday cunts.
Don't worry, Stuart, it's the Aquarium Range. We're all going to be okay.
Oh, good. Yeah, oh no, I heard about that one. The Saturn Jupiter thing fucked everyone up.
Hey,
a bit,
listen,
didn't
this
it?
is my show, right? Okay. Lindsay, if
Right,
I-
Lindsay, do you want? You can come on the show if you want, Lindsay. Though.
I'll see you in a bit.
She's waiting for a weed.
Oh, nice.
See ya.
Wait, you're,
Lindsay's
you're-
okay, then you got in your t-shirt. Hey, you're not in the movies, eh? Anyway.
Oh my. Well, God, tangent time. What
Aye.
do you want to talk about?
We can talk about we could talk about the depressing things and all that, but I think this is a positive area. So
This is this is a safe space. We don't want to put folk on a downer.
I mean, we could talk about the shite. There's loads of shite to talk about. Everybody knows the shite.
Everyone knows the
tunes
shite,
you've
as you say.
What tunes you been listening to lately? You know what I mean?
Ah, a good one. I absorb so much music, it's nuts, and I get sent stuff all the time. So I try and listen to local music as much as humanly possible, and like local unsigned bands. But if I'm listening, it was Phil Ramsey actually got me on a fucking rabbit hole and a half. He phoned me up like a few weeks ago. He's like, I'm halfway through a bottle of wine. I just had to fucking see your face, pal. I was like, yes, Phil, it's so lovely to see you. All I could see was his nipple because his camera wasn't working all that well.
Oh, he's a nipple boy. Like.
It was just a Phil
Like,
nipple, but it was good enough.
Joby.
Anyway, it was like, you have to check this band out. And he sent me loads of different like Viking pirate music.
Oh, he's
like
that,
Norwegian, sort of like Svalbard, and had weird names. I've got it all saved on my playlist. So I've been absorbing that, like from like Vikings, like loads of amazing harmony, sort of shit going on. Love it.
Like guys that have went over like the Atlantic Ocean to fucking like Iceland and fucking Greenland and that.
I want gold and I want women.
It's all right for them now, eh? It's all right to be like Ken. There was no hashtag Me Too back then, was there?
Hashtag I got raped and pillaged too. Oh no. Well, I know. They had it easier back then, I guess you could say. But then also, the axes and arrows and flaming like cannonballs coming through Starbuck. What was that?
Aye, but back then it was physical, mate. Now it's in your mind.
It's on your mind. Would you if you could jump in a time machine, right, and like it's a one-way trip, right?
Right.
You're going back. You've got one trip to go back, but you have to live the rest of your life there, right? So, but you have to go back at least 200 years, yeah. But you can go as far back after that if you want. You could go spend the last day with a dinosaur if you want. Where would you go? What time?
Is this like some sort of Darren Brown trick? I mean, you've given me parameters here. You give me the option.
No, that's right.
But then there's rules within it.
I know that's why the rules are what makes it interesting.
All right, okay. Why does it make it interesting? Why 200 years and why?
Well, because the interesting part is like, there's plenty of places I'd go in a time machine, but there's few places I'd want to spend the rest of my life once
But
I'm
it has
back
to
there.
be over 200 years.
Yeah, like you can't just go back to 1945 or whatever. I'd like,
Oh, why would you
like
do
say
it?
like before 1900, and you have to live out the rest of your life. Like if you've got 20, 30 years of your life left, you're going to be stuck wherever you end up.
Hmm.
It's a hard one.
I don't know.
Like, because
All depends-
Vikings, fuck
all
that.
This is sort of situation where it all depends whether we trust what the history books say or not.
Well, yeah, well,
Um,
maybe like, I mean, if you went back to, like, say you did actually go back to the Viking times, I mean, that's like, you end up on a pier in like Connecticut, and you're like, got your Nike t-shirt on, and you're like,
Oh,
all
I see.
right, how's
you
it
can
going?
take
Like,
so you can take what you have with you.
yeah, and also like, I mean,
Alright.
if you misjudge it and they just axe you straight away, I mean, then that's poor choice. You know, it needs to be somewhere where like they might actually accept you. You know the language maybe would be helpful, or like you've got some tale that you can like yarn to like make sure they don't like just kill you straight off.
All right, for a start, I would take my guitar. That's my traveling thing.
It's a passport.
I would probably get a good set of sandals, like Birkenstocks or something like that.
Right, so get like in
They would be the
the
best sandals, right, as well.
yeah.
And I would probably go back to the time baby Jesus. And I would serenade all the king's men, or whatever the fuck, what were they? Humpty Dumpty or something?
Wise men,
the
the three
story?
wise men.
What was the story about Humpty Dumpty when he was about? All the king's horses, all the king's men try to put Humpty Dumpty just before the egg fell off the wall, just before he rolled, just before Easter, just before like the egg in the thing, and I would just, oh shit, look at that, and then I would have to like eat all the egg for protein that was splattered about, and it would be just Jesus within that, and it would just be always. No, I wouldn't want to do that. What am I talking about?
Baz is saying, would hanging out with Guy Fawkes count?
Hanging out with Guy Fawkes? No, I hated the Scots.
All right. But like, imagine what would the conversation like if you appear the day before he's planning to do the thing.
Guy Fawkes was a Catholic, man.
Was
Not
he?
that I'm saying that I'm anti-Catholic or anything like that, but I'm sort of anti any religion, to be honest. If you want to get into that,
I don't know very much about Guy Fawkes.
Guy Fawkes was he didn't like the fact that the crowns were united and all that kind of House of Stuart and that ended up in Tudor and all that kind of stuff. Didn't like the fact that Scots had a lot to do with the pissing about with England and all that. Didn't like that, so he wanted to blow it up. Anyway, well, I can't be asked all this. See all this shit about like, you know, we had this and Brian the Bruce and they were all pricks and all. Here's the whole lot back. Here's the we'll start again. We'll make microcosms. We'll make microcosms in nice places and reinvest the resources that we have and a social sort of attitude. Put it together. Give everybody sort of wee jobs and make things only work small places, man. Right? We tiny ones. And you give everybody, and then they're shit feared theirs doing that, man. Eh? And I think you need to do it in a small. Why can we not do it? No, because we've got like Westminster and it's not even fit for purposes. Unelected, the whole thing, it doesn't work. It's got to go through that. We have to do it by referendum. Anyway, go on to another thing. Where would I go back to? I'd go, oh, this is like Bill and Ted or something. Napoleon and that.
See, it's a good question.
Socrates. I would like to stand on the Pantheon. What the fuck do you call it in Greece? They used to go past and that fucking Homer and all that. Homer Simpson and
the amphitheater.
Amphitheater, right? It's called it's in Athens, Athenia, the Athenians.
The Athenians. Yeah, I like my Battlestar Galactica. They do all the Greek sort of like metaphorology. What are you doing, Rabbit? Honest, get away.
I was conceived in Greece. I was conceived on the early Crete.
What's that mean?
I was conceived. My mum and dad had a wee boogie there. And I was conceived in the Crete. So
Oh, in Crete. Sorry, I
in
didn't.
Crete, I would like to go back to the Minoans, the Minoan Society, see what they were about. Oh, there was a lot of mad stuff. Nah, I'd like to go back. No, the Egyptians.
That's mine. Like, I think I'd like to just go back to like when the pyramids were being built and just hang out and help. You know, spend the rest of my life building the pyramid, or try and time it so I can see it like the capstone put on. And then maybe
why not the footstone or the cornerstone?
because like the capstone's like the finish, you know, like it's like ding, we're done, you know.
We're done.
Well,
What was it to start?
well, I get it depends actually, because maybe it's not done. Maybe they didn't finish it. Who knows?
And then they went and built another pyramid.
Yeah. There's apparently there's some crazy like out there conspiracies about the Sphinx outside the main pyramid, the big one, the Giza.
Oh, and there's like some spaceship underneath it, and another theory.
Crazy stuff. There's one that's like if you look behind the ear and there's like some sort of like secret button or something that you push, and it's got once you push it and once you open it, it's got the answers.
Like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's got the answers to how to save the Earth from some coming cataclysm. I'm like, I love that. That sounds amazing.
All right, I'll tell you a story about that.
I read a movie.
Indiana Jones stuff. I was in. Maybe Chris was talking to you about his travels, and it really inspired me when he got back. He says he went to Guatemala, Mexico, Guatemala, Belize. I don't know if he went through Belize, but he went all the way back into Mexico, blah, blah, blah. I went over there. He went with a cat, I went with a cat. Turns out we're both allergic to cats. Anyway. So I ended up over there, and I ended up doing some sort of like, I was quite on a sort of trippy sort of edge at that point. Wanting to go somewhere else and find out things.
Go deep.
Didn't know what was going to happen. I felt some kind of, all right, let's go. Had enough money to do it. So done it. So went to the center of the Mayan Empire, which is a place called fucking huge community, huge city called Tikal. They were like the leaders of the Mayans, right? And there was a lot of other ones in that are around Palenque and all these kind of places. I went and visited them into these places, the architecture and all that kind of stuff. I went for the sunset tour. So we went to a place called Flores. Came from Guatemala. No, this was actually Guatemala through Belize. No. Came from Mexico, through Chetumal, through Belize, into Guatemala. All the roads change in that, because they've not got all these nice roads. It's all dirt tracks and all that kind of stuff. Chicken buses and mountain music and all this stuff and that.
Cool.
Check out some of this stuff, man. Amazing. Chris was probably telling you a bit of this. Because he went a bit further in Central America and that. He was there 3 months. I was only there 3-4 months. I was only there 2 months. So I ended up this place called Tikal. And it's like where they filmed all like the Star Wars stuff and all that kind of stuff. So we were on the sunset tour. We went up the top. And over there was me and a lassie called Catherine, my girlfriend at the time, and this couple called Dom and Pip. And we met them before. No, we met them just there actually, in this place called Flores, which is in this colonial sort of archipelago in this lake. And there's all these guys there, they're doing beer pong with wife beaters on and all that kind of Australian and French Canadian guys that are all like fucking like spring break shit and all that shit. It's Gringo Trail, right? I want to go off there. Me and him talking that. Go back, have a wee line in that. So the morning we're going to go to this place. We've heard of this guy called Bruno. It's this wee guy in this wee town. It's just outside. We can go there. It's right by the lake. We can go swimming in that. Fucking right. Let's do it in the morning. Wake up in the morning. Blah blah blah. He's a big dope smoker and that. I was in the had a wee top and that. Blah blah blah. Went out. 2 couples. Wee tiny wee minibus. Kenny, what was it called, Chris? A fucking Combino or something like Combino. Combine bus. Right?
Combino.
Combine, fucking combine. Right?
Got ya.
Harvester thing. Right? Went as slow as a tractor anyway. Anyway, ended up there in this place called Bruno's. We just got settled there. The rooms were terrible. Cold water, hot as fuck though. Ken, like right out in the sticks and that. We got settled there. It was really nice. Went out, 2 couples, got our swimming gear on, went for a wee swim in this lake. It was beautiful. Best water I've ever felt. Really volcanic because it's really high up in that.
Amazing.
So went out there, came out like let's go to Tikal in the morning. So you need to wait for this other wee bus or whatever it is to Tikal. We get in there, and there's this guy called Chino that meets us, right? Chino's like, hey, everybody, man, you need to pay all this money and that because we're like, because they're all at it, on the gate and that. And we were like, fuck off, mate. He's like, oh, you come with me. Because he kept, and he got money off everybody, all these Aussies and that. We're like, all right, you better. We're like, aye, right, mate. What you got to do about it? We got off, got taken into the national park. And this is the Jaguar Temple. And with the one behind it's like sort of the Sun Temple thing.
Cool.
I think I'm right, Buckley. I've had a few. And we get the tour and that, and you can see the sort of where they filmed bits of Star Wars and all that. Not that I'm into fucking that kind of stuff. It doesn't really fascinate me at all.
It's still cool to see it though. I quite like seeing stuff in the movies.
Anyway, aye. But like we were there, and it was like such a nice sunset. Could hear all the bats and that going to roost and stuff like that in the jungle. And the guy goes up to us and goes, "Do you want a late night tour?" And I'm like, "Aye."
Hell yes.
Go back. You're meant to be camping tonight. He says, we're camping tonight. And, my pal's down there. And we'll get you tents sorted out and that. Go back down, hide behind the wall. Everybody leaves on the bus. We're left in the national park. Next thing, okay, right, you go and pay this guy. It was like fucking 20 quid each, right? So it's basically, he took us up with the shotgun. Now the howler monkeys are coming out at night, right?
Awesome.
The loudest fucking animal in the world.
Oh, mate.
They sampled the howler monkeys for the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, basically. They sampled.
Really?
Aye, this is what they sampled. Aye, definitely, right? Check this out, right? Let me get to the point.
Howler monkeys, man. That is Indiana Jones shit. You know, you see them all hanging about.
Indiana Jones shit, and this gets better, man, right? So we are on the Sunset Tour. This dodgy boy on the Sunset Tour takes us away, and they're all like kind of Guatemalan, like dodgy and everything. Like, brilliant, though. Really nice guy. And he took us on this tour, and he tells us there's a drought and all that, and he says, "My name is Julio, fucking De La Vega, like fucking whatever, right?" And he goes, "But they call me Chino." Because of the eye. I'm like, I like this guy because of the
Gino.
eyes. No, Gino, because of the eyes, man. Right? And I'm like, fucking this guy's brilliant. Right? Catherine's like, shit myself. Like, no, let's stay. Me and Dom are like, no, let's stay in that. So me and Dom Tanyan is his name. Baz knows Dom. Chris has not met him. Baz does, if you're listening. You'll know what Dom Tanyan is about. Touché, right? So we stay up there. And they're like, okay, right. So we pay off the guards, we pay off the fucking police, right? Another $20.
Oh my God.
And then they take us up with these cardboard things. And then the guy goes up with a shotgun because of the monkeys, the howler monkeys. And we're walking through Tikal in the pitch black, right? Through the jungle, right? And we've got to go through these 2 walls that are like the old kind of stone that is like thousands and thousands of years old, pyramids, right?
So
And you've got
cool.
a tiny wee chasm to walk through, and there's tarantulas on the wall, And you've got to like fucking, it's Indiana Jones, I swear to God, right? I'm like, I used to have a bit of hang about spiders, but no anymore. I like the big furry ones, it's the wee ones, right? Fuck they things, right? So we ended up sitting down, we've got a bottle of fucking tequila, couple actually, can't go like fucking loose, like, you know what I mean? So we're sitting at the sacrificial pit, like, where they used to like cut the priest's heads off. They used to bumble. If you've ever seen Apocalypto, they come down That's where this is what they based it on. And they fall into the pit and then they burn the heat and all that kind of stuff. So you're sitting in this fireplace, fire pit kind of thing. They're sitting there all night, and Dom has got a bottle of water. He says, I've got a wee bit of a present for you. And he's like, what? He's just sitting there and he's not saying anything for a while. So I've just we've got these wee bike light things, eh? So we've put like wee lollipop sticks, came with the wee paper polystyrene cups on a lollipop stick. And I've put the red light for the bike light underneath it, so it illuminates it like a lamp, right? Okay. See, the wee paper cup just illuminates like a lamp, and he starts going, holy shit, why is there lamps here? And I was like, all right, he's on something, right?
It's not water in that water bottle.
He just gave me the fucking water, right? And I've downed half the water and I've given it to Catherine because she's like, right, here we fucking go, lads, right? So what's happened? A couple of things going past, a couple of spiders walking past, and he's up like with one of the lollipop sticks, right? For the lamp, teasing like this tiny wee spider that run at us. He's seen that spider running for like ages away. This is a spider about that size. And we all go up because of the spider. Now the trip's kicking in. It's pure acid, right? In this fucking thing,
you drank half of a bottle?
No. Pure acid when the water is just dipped.
Right, okay.
So we're actually right? And we're in the centre. It's being an equivalent to the middle of the pyramids, right?
Fucking hell, man.
Honestly,
this is
man.
Fucking cool.
No. And then like just before the guy who was sleeping beside us, was the police guy, he gets up off the bit of cardboard. We thought we were getting tents up there. No, to get the tents when we go back down the road because it's like a sacred site in that. He's walked down the road, and just before he left, he's like, oh, look in the bushes. And all these fireflies start going, eh? And the howler monkeys are gone. And we're like, what the fuck is happening here? Like coming up on this serious acid trip, right? We've got the guitar and that. I'm playing on the side of the Jaguar temple and that.
My God.
And like giving all this stars are gone and everything. Man, right, okay.
That's intense as fuck. Like,
right, seriously intense, but scared, but good, because you're in a sacred place, right? And all this sort of stuff.
Did you feel? Sorry, go on. I'll ask you.
No. That's not a question.
I was like, did you feel like a presence of the ancients because you were tripping, or like were you maybe like taking in that? Did you feel like the place you were in gave you energy, like when you were tripping?
I didn't ken whether there was anything in the water or no, so I was second guessing what the water was, and I was still drinking tequila, right? And I knew I was in a nice place, and I thought this was really nice and that. And then the two lassies are freaking out. Then Dom goes away and starts to pick twigs for the woods. Well, the woods. Sorry, no, the woods. The jungle. Wet twigs and that. It's not as if it's like kind of like fallen acorns and shit here. He's bringing it on to the centre of the pit where they used to sacrifice heads and shit. Kind of like burn heads and that. He starts building this up, and I'm like, all right, okay, let's get a wee fire on the go and that. Now I'm coming up in acid here and that, and I'm going, oh, you fucker, jittering and that, pyramid temple, fucking this and that. We've got a nice wee torch with us in that as well, so we're shining them up. We're trying to do like painting light because Catherine had like a really good camera, eh? So you could do like a kind of like the long sort of like
long exposure
thing, eh?
Yeah,
so you could see all the light coming into it, and we were like painting on the temple with the light and all that, and so it was mad. So Dom and Pippa, like they're out there not, and they're just watching us, just like not back this tequila and that, eh? And I'm like, Ken. So they disappear. I think they're going for a walk. Yeah, I think they're just going for a wee shaggy up in the temple or something like that. Next thing, Ken, we're coming up. We've lit a fire in that. Eh? He's got a photo of the fire sprite that we actually made, and he's got a photo of this. Eh? He's like, that's a sprite in that. Eh? 3 years later, you can't even work, eh? You're like, fucking, what just happened there, eh? The sunrise tour comes in.
Oh no!
The sunrise tour.
Yes.
And they're all like hippies with dreadlocks and all this stuff and that. Like, getting the sunrise tour, and they all come out because like he went away with that torch, right, away to the pyramids that are at the side, and they're all nooks and crannies. So I'm like, Dom, is that you? And then next thing I see, 2 torchlights, 3 torchlights, 4 torchlights, and they're all like going like that.
Oh
And it's just like, whoa. And they're all running towards the centre.
The fire, surely.
Right?
Yeah.
And this guy comes up to me and he goes like, do you know where you are? Like this Mayan guy, eh? And I was like, holy fuck, we've been fucked with the gods here and that, eh? Like, Jesus Christ, man, eh? No, but the next thing he says is like, no, but the thing is, he's ripping the fuck out as well because he's actually using the site to sell his stuff to get all these hippies in to stay. Say to them, his selling point is usually be the first there. I'm standing by the fire with a bottle of tequila, on acid gun. All right, boys, where were you? It's like,
no chuff the mate. What's the
I
chuff?
thought we were the first year, and they're like, you have actually stepped on sacred ground here. I was like, aye,
Oh
so good.
God.
I was just having a wee fire, and me and Dom actually said thank you very much and all that kind of stuff to the Mayan gods and all that kind of stuff. I shit myself. Him and Dom and Pip are probably sitting on the side, one of the real edges of the pyramid, just like laughing the fuck at me and Catherine, dealing with all these like fucking like new age fucking like space cadets. Well, I'm on acid and they're not.
I was going to say, mate.
Like, aye, just going.
The blind leading the blind.
You know what I mean? You want a drink? Well, you can't drink that here. I put it on the fire, put it. You know what I mean? And then it was like, after that, it was just like, shit. It was like, all right, I thought there was going to be an international incident or something, eh? Can you like magnify things in the heat when you're on acid? I was like, oh no, shit, what's going to happen? Ends up.
Going to be on the news.
The guy, the black guy had shades on, was like, this is our sacred ground. I was like, well, why are you here? He was like, I'll tell the police. I said, I've already paid off the police to get up here. And they were like, he backed off. The police guys came up and they were like, right, guys. They were laughing at us. They were like, right, we'll get you down the hill and that. And I couldn't get Catherine off the hill. She was like, what if we go down there? And they're all like, Kenny crazy and all that, eh? And I was like, oh, fucking. I was like, come on, you need to go. Dom's like, man, come on, Catherine, we need to go. And then she's sitting next to fucking like tree trunks and that where like tarantulas are and all that kind of shit. I was like, come on, let's get down. Eventually we got down the hill, got a bottle of rum, get the tents up, mosquitoes everywhere, treat the guy for fucking mad mosquito stuff. It was fucking Raj. But after that, I started watching these things, when I got back to like sort of like a reasonable hotel about the Mayan gods and that, and about like, have I done something wrong? Ken, this kind of shit. It was really...
I understand that completely.
No, and I was like, Ken, have I done something like really wrong here? What have I fucking done here? And I was like, all right, you'll be all right, son. You'll be all right. Just keep going on, keep going on. I was like, I really thought that I'd upset them, but then I actually thought again. I was like, no, they were the ones making money at it. We gave money just to have that experience, and me and Dom were really like, thank you very much for this. The lassies were like, no, you're doing something really wrong here. And I was like, why? We were in
I think
we did nothing wrong with the place. We never done anything wrong to the place at all.
You get that tour. That's a once in a lifetime moment. Basically, they I think you were on that tour, and those guys were like, "These are the cool guys that we want to get fucked up with tonight. Let's ask them to come." Is that not what happened?
No. The people that turned up were like, turning into the boy. I thought we were going to be the first here.
But like, you know, like Chino,
you're going to see this come up here. That's how they sell it. And we were like standing there, like, oh, right,
that's the tour that come in the morning. But like your guy Chino, like, were you with
he
a bunch of other people?
He was off with the money, half the money.
Right. Yeah, that sounds about right, man. Like, if you get offered that tour though, you can't like. I would love to do like the illegal Egyptian tour. You can go stand up the top of the pyramids if you ask the right person at night time.
That's exactly what it is,
mate. I mean, imagine doing a gig like just on the side. Just take a stone. You know, they should totally do gigs there. I mean, nah, maybe not.
No, but this is what it was like. I had the guitar and everything, and I was just like, we had the whole amphitheater to ourselves, man. Like, it was like an amphitheater because there's like graves and there's like 2 big fucking temples, and then like Chris will tell you, man, it's an amazing space. But at night, it comes alive with the jungle. It's like fucking Jungle Book. I'm the king of the swing. There's monkeys like in the trees. You can't see them, but you can fucking hear them. There's fireflies. There's fucking big spiders and shit. It's like
that's so great, man. Because like when you're on LSD as well, like your hearing goes so acute. You can pick things up from miles away. So like I can't even imagine what that must like being in a jungle and like hearing all the foreign noises as well, things you've not heard before.
But in the centre of like a place where there was loads of people that's been overgrown and that they've taken over for themselves, the monkeys and stuff, like, you know.
So amazing.
Like fucking the Jungle Book, like. Ken, it was like, what the where the try to deal with it, the fact that I didn't care if it was acid or not, coming up on the trip and then going, oh shit, right, I'm here again. Try to ground yourself constantly, like, Ken, that kind of thing. And just like try to let it flow and try to deal with somebody else who's been scared as well. And it's that borderline of that sort of edge, you just being scared and just dropping off or no, or like.
It's a tightrope, mate. I've danced that tightrope a few times, and
get off the trip, like just slam it off, like, you know what I mean.
Did you get a sense at all of like again, I've not been in a jungle, but I'd love to be in a jungle, and I think being in a jungle even itself will be quite a crazy psychedelic experience. But like, did you get a sense at all when you were like deep in the trip and you're in this like deeply historical area where like our ancient sort of civilization sort of like got their shit together and lived off the land and stuff there? Did you feel like the world we've created, like the sort of the cities and stuff we've done now, are like disconnected from that? Did you feel like that was more like home than
No.
the city you grew up in as a child?
No, not at all. I think it was like I think a lot of people like misinterpret how advanced their societies actually were. A lot of people think it was very primitive and they like lived by like these kind of, this is the god for that. You can, like, for instance, like they would do a lot of sacrifice and they would say a lot of bad things about, like, or they would just like bring in kids and sacrifice. See, like the main priest that used to have this Chino guy told me, the main priest, there was a drought when he was there. The main priest would actually sacrifice his own head if there was a drought during his reign. So he would actually put his head down there because he was the head of that area. This wasn't just like a tiny area. They've actually done like geophysics in that, and it actually goes out to millions of people like this place.
I've seen it, really, the LiDAR stuff that they've started doing where they just fly planes and satellites over.
Huge place. Like,
there's some gigantic pyramids that they haven't uncovered yet.
Oh, totally. Like, yeah, because with the new technology, they've got, they can do in the air and that, like that. The LiDAR thing. I didn't know the ins and outs of that, but like,
really incredible.
What they've actually uncovered, because a lot of the stuff that they did uncover, a lot of the pyramids they've built just go far way under. Like, you know what I mean? They've only uncovered that amount because the amount of growth and vegetation that goes on in the jungle is massive stuff.
In fact,
to chop all that back and just to free all that back, it's just quite a feat itself. That was before all that stuff, but now they can. It's all like they've got like different places. They've got like almost like community centres and all that kind of stuff. It's all around. Like, it's not just like this one place, but that was like a sort of ceremonial place.
This is quite a good picture to put an example. Like you're saying, like the pyramids like sort of continue down into the ground. And this picture blew my mind when I seen it, because for years I thought, well, you'll know what I mean when I share it. So for years and years I thought those were all just that size, but then they dug down. Look how big they actually are. It's like,
that's the thing with these things.
Say what?
The foundations are massive, right?
And like that's the same right through and more so I would say in the Amazon, because of the overgrowth and just how quick things regrow there. So like if you can see a bit of a pyramid, it's definitely going to be way bigger.
But in the sand, it's different as well. Obviously, loads of sand gets blown over in that as well. But see, like especially with the vegetation, the amount of like even in a year, you can have like if you leave your back garden and leaf to overgrow. Imagine that in the jungle, and then like when the rain season comes, it gets wet down and then over and over again. That's going to get massive, man. So these structures are fucking huge, man. Like, massive, man.
It's one of the like weird things, like because of the clearing of the Amazon rainforest, is like it's allowing us to see the history that's been literally missing. Like the size of the Amazon alone is like
so huge, so huge, and we know so little about the archaeology and stuff. It's brutal that the reason we're finding it is because it's burning to shit, and they're just clearing it for palm oil
Like
plants
that,
and
like, that's
stuff.
the thing.
Fucking hell. But
I think fire
cool
and
to
that
see
is
it.
like a natural. I think fire and that's a natural thing, but in order to rejuvenate it and they do that, that's a natural thing for from the ashes of disaster comes a roses success and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the old sort of, is that Mary Poppins or something? Or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang or something? I don't know, some Disney shit.
They actually
But what I mean,
found
it's like that's natural though, not just to just clear it out and fucking put up other stuff. And we've just found this new stuff. Just put plants next to it. I don't know. Is that good or bad? I don't know.
I think that's,
it's because of profit though, eh? It's because of profit though, not because of curiosity.
if you plant one of anything, like if you're just trying to make profit by putting one thing one place, then it's not going to work. We're learning more and more like that, like rewilding, and it's more about the synergy between all plants and species, and the habitat will look after itself if you don't fuck with it too much. Have a bit of everything there all together,
Exactly.
and it might not look nice and orderly like us humans like to see in lines, but it's going to be way better for the environment.
Well, if you look at like, you know, like, I mean, how do you say, like, there's a big contentious issue about like cattle and all that kind of stuff, and like especially like cows and stuff, right? But they can graze, man. Like if you look at like before the Europeans went to America, there was millions of buffalo on the plains, right? They're turning over the grass all the time. They're turning it over, they're shitting it out. They're turning it over, they're shitting it out. They're completely part of that, right? They're rejuvenating the soil. There's so much more roots going on under there, and it's no dark spaces. Now, you get cornfields, and sometimes they go out of business, and then they just get like flattened by like chemicals, and there's big dark patches. You notice, like if you look at it, all the dark patches over the Great Plains of America, right? All the dark patches. See, if it's just dirt, it doesn't absorb any like fucking CO2. It doesn't absorb any to actually like when it all goes away is when June happens and like flowers and that spring up and things start springing up, that it actually takes all the shit out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's all these they now they're putting cows in everything. Oh, you can't do cows and all that. No, but what you need is like a multi-diverse ecological system on these big plains that have all been left, and all these farmlands and that have been desolate because of big farming in America, and put loads of different kind of plant species and all that kind of stuff in there.
Mushrooms, mate.
Rejuvenate the soil and actually bring it
mycelium
back in and let it grow and let it come down. And then you put on like natural animals, not just to farm them to eat them, not for that profit, just to actually graze it, to turn it over, stick them in another field, then you'll get it back.
Yeah.
So
well, there's like
important, man, like Ken.
They talk about like the mycelial network of mushrooms that like sit under our forests and trees and rainforests and things, and they stretch for miles and miles under. And some people even call this certain type of mushroom with the largest mycelial networks, like hundreds of miles long. They call it the meadow maker, for exactly the reason you're on about. Is like, say there's like a built up part of the woods where there's like not a lot of nitrogen or phosphorus or whatever the chemicals that the mycelia are going to provide up the way is getting thin on the ground. So like they'll like produce chemicals to like clear that area so that the vegetation will break down, the plants will break down, it will draw in larger animals who'll then graze, work the ground, as you say. Their manure will go into the ground, produce all those chemicals that we're missing into the ground, and then the mycelia will sort of change its fucking coding and be like, okay, right, now we're back on good fronts with all the chemicals, now we'll turn it into a meadow again, or vice versa, and so they actually change the physicality of the forest itself, but it's actually underneath. It's this fucking mushroom.
But this is the thing, it's about ebb and flow. You can't have the same thing all the time in the same place. You can't overrate that same bit of ground. You know what I mean? It's like, it has to be turned over or moved on. This is why grazing animals, this is why they're not meant to be herded, man. They're meant to actually just move.
Yeah,
It's
for
in
miles
the
and
whole
miles as
system
well.
of it, you know what I mean? It's like the plains of Africa, and that. They move. That replenishes. By the time they come round, they're in the cycle, man. They come round when it's back again, you know what I mean?
Do you think
When
we
it's
can
overgrown, they
save?
come round again.
Do you think we can save the like food cycles? Like, because it's obviously if the insects are dying pretty fucking crazy quick right now, and that does scare me. And if the insects go, that's like the bottom of the food source, and it's going to fucking cascade up the way. I feel
Now,
like
what,
we've got our shit together, and like we do have technologies that are available that are going to be able to help. Like the guy that's managing to filter all the plastic out of the rivers, and he's dealing with the garbage patch. That dude's fucking incredible. Like there
no,
are
but think,
solutions, but like have we gone too far when it comes to the animals? Like,
no, I didn't think so. I think people
yeah,
just need to like think about less a profit and think about more like where the longer profit is. If you actually make it work over 5 years or something like that, you can actually, instead of like $1 per acre that you're making in these places like in America and that, this guy's doing different things with the same land because the land's more fertile. He's growing more things. He's growing turnips. He's growing all these things instead of just doing huge farming, like thousands of miles, like just fully fucking wheat. It's no fucking natural, man. Thousands of miles fully. That's not what it's made for. It's meant to have an interactional like ecosystem to go together. So you need things to go together to make things that are actually to make it less barren. So when the sun shines on it, there's stuff coming. It's bringing out the shit out the fucking ozone layer and all the crap that we've put in it. The more we plant, the better it gets.
and also like think of like when people think of like big pharma and stuff these days, you imagine like a strip of tablets with metal foil on the front. But really, you go all the way back. All those drugs came from a plant or a tree or a flower or a
Sorry, I
like.
wasn't talking about big pharma. I was talking about big farming. But I
Yeah, yeah, no, I know.
I
I just kind of went on a sort of tangent there, but like also like the rainforest and like our forests and natural habitats being like they were our supermarket initially, and like we're fucking them up by turning it into single aisles of one thing.
Exactly.
And really, yeah.
That's the problem. It's a problem. It's just mass produced for profit. But the thing is, like the guy that done the experiment on this, I can't remember his name, but he was saying he's doing multiple things within that, and per acre he's got, instead of $1 for the guys that are actually like having to sell it like for seeds and all this kind of stuff that goes in with the big farming, like can some of it's just going to rot, and then they have to get that done with just chemicals, right?
Yep.
And it's fucking up the soil, it's fucking up the pH level and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's creating big bald patches. It just reflects it back up. It's no soaking it in. Ken, soaking it in takes away the shite. I ken there's a lot of shite, but we need to get rid of it. Ken what I mean? And the only way to do it is to replenish multi-ecosystems within what we've got, rather than massive fields of just that just for profit. That's the problem in the world. That is the problem in the world. That is the problem in climate change. If we change that, then you can still have cows and have your McDonald's and that if you want.
Yeah. We just need, it's like striking that balance, isn't it? It's like we find it hard to like we're a bit like, as a species we're a bit all or nothing, and if we figure something out, especially if there's a monetary gain to it, we'll fucking spin that story until the last penny is made, and fuck everything else, you know. Yeah,
it's the same with oil and energy. I mean, like, you know, like what the fuck, you got ExxonMobil, you got all these big guys, you got the big pharmaceutical companies, the chemical companies and everything like that provide the farmers with all that, you know. Like, do they want it to change? They're fucking quids in. Do they want it to change? These are the guys that lobby the government. These are the guys that lobby guys like Trump and Obama and all these all these people that are in high office and that fund them to actually get their political careers further. This is the problem. It has to be going to smaller levels. Independence for Scotland on a small level, socially minded, and just bring it back, man. Just to a small level and just make sure it works and see if it works. Thing is, my personal opinion is I think they'll have jump jet Harriers on the street before Scotland gets independence, because of just that wee bit more oil to get out, eh? Just that wee bit more, eh?
I don't know,
Wanna
like
go-
there was
Can I go to the
yesterday.
toilet? Can I
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
the
go
toilet?
for it, mate. Go for it. What I'll do, I need to go pee as well. So what I'll do is I'll
Put
play
some
that
beats
Stevie. I'll play that track on for the beginning. Right, I'll see you in a sec, mate.
See you, man.
Right, I played this at the beginning, people. We're just gonna have a quick pee break. Stevie Creed has got a new single out today or tomorrow or something. But anyway, here it is. Enjoy.
Listen to Stevie Creed.
Yeah,
Go and listen
yeah.
to Stevie Creed.
Stevie, yeah. Southside till infinity and beyond. Scotland and New York, the type of shit that we on. Could last a couple eons. Here to bring the light, oh yeah, I'm bagging up the neon. Bagging up the neon. Let the fan, but then I made it right, but could you be wrong? For sleeping on the train and trapping just to make a new song. Bag of Stella at the party, then we get the groove on. Smash it. Told me spend the night, I had to be gone. Jurassic. Pussy feeling like the new classic. I blasted. Got my log in without the password. And shit ain't been the same since it took the tab of acid. Got me like, what happens to a dream deferred? Them nightmares reoccur. The slight fears reassured that anything you wanna do is like, yeah, it's premature. Life could be a bitch, but you ain't got a bitch to her. I manifested, you just imagine. This shit was destined, you can't imagine. This ain't for looks, no, this ain't a pageant. Me and Stevie Creed is lyrical assassins. Yeah, it's lyrical assassins.
Take a walk in my shoes as I stroll through the blocks. AirPods on blast while I let the beat knock. Hip hop won't stop. Started with my tape pop. Now I'm in this thing forever. Get your haters at the top. Take a walk in my shoes as I stroll through the blocks. AirPods on blast while I let the beat knock. Hip hop won't stop. Started with my tape pop. Now I'm in this thing forever. Get your haters at the top.
Stress levels are trebled, walking ethical rules. Closed, disheveled, so tremble like a step with the crows. Close bro was a salesman that sold me a ghost. Every level has a devil, they don't go to your shows. Talking about the people who never see the sequel. See having a dream is evil, raining on my gazebo. The Beatles ego pushing seeds like a kilo into ignorant people, throwing me off like a kilo. Extra terrestrial, exceptional, fluorescent glow. The next to blow, you're a vegan, well I'm the vegetable. Eat me, give me head and show. Seeing like a telescope, the feeling you're believing, releasing you, it's a chemical. Luring this family.
Yeah, there we go. So that's Hard to Believe. The video will be coming out for that pretty soon. And the track, I think, will be on Spotify like today or tomorrow. So, like, it's a total banger. I love it. It's like fucking old school beats. And as we got Aaron back, there he is.
Hey,
That's one. Hello, all refreshed.
Oh, hi.
Oh,
Hold on, I'm just going to get some ice.
go for it, mate. Go for it. Tomorrow night, we got. Have I got the picture up yet? Let's see if we can get up. Going to be talking to Suki Goodfellow tomorrow. I'll just get the picture up for yous. Suki. Amazing artist and plays with a band called Fisty Muffs. And does loads of cool wee bits and pieces. Is it loading? There we go. Suki Goodfellow, number 40. Who's going to be number 42? That's my question. The answer to the universe, the something and everything.
Life, the universe, and everything.
Thank you very much. Oh, where's he gone?
I'm here.
Where have he gone, pal? We've left us. Where have he gone? Oh, thank God. So what's your plans then for this year, mate? Are you like with everything being up in arms? Have you got a game plan? Or are you just fucking one day at a time?
One day.
Uno day at a time, huh? That's
One
what
day,
I'm doing.
man. Hey, man, you want to do one day at a time, man? What's up we got, man? Big game plan. It's quite hard. I think it's quite funny how a lot of people had big, massive. At first, I did find it quite funny. The big, long game plan, sort of capital, sort of ideas went right out the window. I did chuckle a wee bit to myself. I've got to say, Ken, the things that you think that are going to be like so secure in that and into all of these capitalist systems that everybody just we're led down the garden path just to fall into.
Right.
Suddenly, I've got one business. Then I'll buy another one. Then I'll buy another one. I'll just get the cheapest stuff I fucking can. I'll just get all these immigrants and that to work for me and everything like that. And then suddenly, I'll get a really nice car as well. Suddenly, I'll get that on finance because next year we're going to have 4 of them. And then suddenly, boom! What happened there? Oh, the pandemic. Oh, everybody just rolled over in a fucking day. Sorry, they can't pay you anymore. Oh, government. Oh, we're just poor me. Aye, see what it's like on the other side. Yeah, man. Yeah, fucking man. Ken,
Did you see as well, like, maybe on the other side, like a sort of bittersweet was all the cunts that have bought Airbnb places over the years, and then all of a sudden everything dried up in a month. And it's like, aye, well, maybe some of those flats could go to the folk that like have been trying to get a decent flat in Edinburgh for 10 years. That's not got to cost them like 1,200 quid a month or something mad. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, aye.
Fuck the Airbnb cunts. Like, oh my god. They've had their comeuppance though. That probably won't happen as bad as that again, hopefully.
It wasn't just them, it was the people that just got too big for their boots and actually just thought, kind of just changed their mind for actually like coming. I come from a socialist background and I've just worked my way in. So if he fucking turned up fucking 10 minutes late, I'd sack him. I'd put him on a 0-hour contract right away. I fucking, whoa, where do you lie here? Oh, you're lying. Aye, I see. Aye. You just think you're getting a bit better in your life, so therefore you actually turn into one of them. Where did the fucking moral fucking border lie with your shit? Now it's shit, eh? Now it's a great equal. I thought it was a great equaliser at first.
Seemed that way for a minute or two.
What about all these people that are out of fucking work? And what about them that are out of work that actually just got away? You've got to feel sorry for people that actually just are ruled by fucking things that not necessarily think they're in, but they suddenly become part of the set. So they've got to just do more, invest more, take financial advice with people that just are only out for their own fucking selves, man, but nothing else but themselves.
That's why I'm absolutely loving this Reddit Wall Street's bets GameStop shit, because like some of those folks, like they invested like $19,000 on day one, and they're like now sitting at like 24 million in their bank account if they all hold out. And like what I'd like to see happen, because again, this is sound cunts that are getting this money and they're already using it for amazing things. And like if that was a great equalizer of sorts, then like I want to see people with like compassion with 30 mil in their bank and what they do with it. Because like it seems like you're saying when folk make a certain amount of money from their business or that, they go over to the dark side and they're just like, fuck yes, like shareholders only.
Oh, I've done well for myself, so I'll start cutting ties with my mates and all that. They're just going to die alone.
But maybe like now, you know, and also like
they'll be like, aye,
Hi. Elon Musk though, like I mean, he's going to send folk to Mars, maybe like.
Is he?
You know that? Aye, fucking date, mate.
Or is that to fucking see if there's diamonds there?
It's or something? Fucking cool as fuck, and it's like fucking like a space movie. I will go to Mars if you give me a ticket. I'll go. I'll happily go. And I'll take that holiday.
Mars. I'd rather go down the fucking Duke, eh?
Operation Brain.
I'd rather go down the fucking Persevere and just watch Sky fucking the La Liga. Sunday night.
Read the paper down the pub on a Saturday morning.
Put my bet on. Fucking care what I'm like, as long as she's got my dinner, right? And see if she's no. Oh, hell, Menda. Just call me old fashioned and that, eh?
No, I don't know. I'm a geek for the space stuff. I like to, you know, because for me it's like it's the same thing that brought folk to new parts of the world, getting on a ship. Like to me, a rocket ship is just a big sailing ship, and it's just that human exploratory thing just working its way out. Like we're going to do it whether we like it or not. It's just I'm glad that someone that's like got a half decent head on his shoulders is actually the guy with all the money and the ideas. You know, it could have been a lot worse folk than Elon Musk running that show for a private business. You know, we got quite lucky with him.
Fair play. I didn't care a lot about Elon Musk. It sounds like, I don't know.
Love that guy.
All right, sound. I'll have to like inquire.
Elon Musk, I do.
But the thing is, if you talk about ships that used to go to further afield and all that kind of stuff, you want to go back a bit. They used to like put Ken, they used to let people out of jail to go and do that, like, as in, well, people already knew these places beforehand. And as soon as they got there, what did they do? They just took them over and just decided to bring in constitutions about this, like, guns and stuff, and like, Ken, fucking blow this
Like,
up.
oh, hi there. Oh, that's a
Let's
nice
fuck
fur.
it up. If we can't sort this one out, why go to another one, Ken? Sort this one out, and then I think when we're right, like aliens, just say they're there, and fucking CIA and all that kind of stuff have been hiding it for ages. What's that guy? Anyway, they're probably looking at us, just going, "What the fuck up?" Why would we?
Yeah, we're not very impressive, are we?
They might end up on a fucking ship with us, stowaways, coming back to your place and fucking taking our place that we've got nice and ready, that we've got much more technology to come to your place to have a look at. So why the fuck should we?
It's already happened.
Shut up. Hey. You know what I mean?
I had a thought, like, stick with me with this one. Like,
Alright.
if the entire human experience itself was a like preordained like thing that was going to happen, like that, if our planet was seeded, right? Say an asteroid with like the DNA of what would eventually become the human species was like encoded into a meteorite and just thrown out a million places, and one eventually hit our planet, and like evolution started, you know, but encoded in this, like whoever sent it knew that at some point a species with thumbs will be evolved, and they will then be set about trying to create technology. And maybe like we're putting all this technology together, and somehow one day like we're going to just like put the perfect machine together, and it's going to be like a beacon, and it's just going to be like beep, like you have achieved human level 1, and like, and then they'll show up. They'll be like, well done, you've passed the first test. It only took like 180 million years. You know, I was like, that was just one of my crazy stone thoughts the other night.
No. I get what you're saying.
I don't believe it. It's just a cool thought.
But let me tell you this: there was an asteroid that hit the Earth and set off on its axis and ended up going a wee bit. Oh no! I'll become your moon. Then it became the moon. Then it dragged the tides. Then it dragged the tides. Like, I mean that you can that sort of oscillation, elliptical sort of oscillation, but it never fucking shows its whole self to us. That must mean that there's something else going on, the dark side of the moon and all that. Pink Floyd, look at all that. Hey,
there is no dark side of the moon.
Explain to me why birds every once a month go fucking mental.
You can't understand that.
Oh, it does, aye. It's the moon, it's the tides, it's the fucking the whole draggy water and that.
I mean, it makes sense. Come on, like that. I mean, we were literally born from all of that. If it doesn't affect us somehow, it would just. And like you say, I mean, all the animals are tuned into it.
Well, it gives us our poles as well. It allows us to like kind of like go gravitational, like, you know what I mean? Ken, what I mean? Like allows us
that wee wobble. It's like tiny wee degrees. You know, they even like there's people that say like if you look at the pyramids, and they're sort of aligned with the stars and stuff, and you've got the main pyramid structure, and then it's sat on a base, and the base compared with the main structure is like it's like 1.31 degrees or whatever extra, and it turns out that's the exact same as the tilt. That's which marks our precession, like that sort of Mayan calendar, the 25,400 years sort of cycle. But it looks like it was like even the Egyptians sort of knew what was going on there. They actually like knew the maths. I think they're cleverer than us. Right. I do think they're cleverer than us.
They had long enough to look at things without TV. Kind of looking at the sky, man, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. There's going to be some brainy bastard going, hold on a minute, mate. Is this round, this place? Oh, aye. Are they just all stuck up there like wee things for us? No, they're fucking no. That's ruined. That looks ruined. Is that closer? Definitely closer, because that moves like, can you get a manga film when the background sort of moves differently to the foreground? And it gives you a sense of perspective. It's exactly what they were thinking. Like, they were manga guys, man. Like the you know, and as well as moons as well. Moons are in planets. And you start looking at them. Oh, like, what the fuck is that dot over there at that point? Oh, what was that?
They
Oh,
definitely
wait a
get.
bit.
They
Oh,
know
wait
what
a
they.
bit. Oh, I've done it again. Oh, right, I see. Oh, so you can measure that.
What about, is it maybe a projection in your own mind, or what about all that inner projection stuff, you know?
Inner projection.
Between infrared and ultraviolet light is all we can see, but there's more than that, really, in our reality.
Science is great.
There's a great quote
know,
from a TV series that I love, which I've maybe mentioned once or twice, called Battlestar Galactica. But there's one of the Cylons, which is like the AI robot, is like having a big fucking moan to one of the other robots, being like, why the fuck did they remake us in their own body, like of their own image? Like, I'm a human. I've got these horrible gelatinous eyes and this horrible tongue and this body which smells and all that. He's like, I want to be. He's like, I have the ability to see X-rays. I want to feel ultraviolet. I want to feel radiation pour through my soul, and I want to live forever. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, if we can make that like jump from a human body to like a digital like hardware thing, then that might be possible. You just ping yourself off into the stars and just experience everything.
No. I think that anything's possible, man. I think like
DMT.
But have you ever had DMT? Like, Jesus.
I mean, that can teach you a lot of years of knowledge of what maybe even is, you know, DMT.
Oh,
takes
time doesn't exist.
Out of body. No, it's like the spirit molecule, man.
I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
Puts things into perspective in a way that is out of perspective to the norm. It's really hard to explain.
Now, children, I'm going to tell you the story. Okay.
Jakey Nori is in town.
Jakey Nori. Now, this is like once, you remember on New Year's Eve?
Yes.
Where it was I Am Jolly.
Right, well, let's do it. Bedtime stories with Jakey Nori.
No, Reverend Jakey Nori. I was drawn to the desert by some sort, I don't know what, but I had to go there before I left, because I'd been in the jungle, I'd been up the mountains, I'd been up like fucking volcanoes and everything like that. Great. When I went to the flat plains, and it was like fucking, used to be a sea. Unreal. When I went out there, I knew that this was the place where you could pick peyote. And for ages I was looking about, like, I didn't even fucking look for like this fucking thing. I think there's a lot of people that picked them. So I went out there, I sat out there for a place called, the state was San Luis Potosi. And I went to a place called Matehuala. And from there, I got a bus to a place called Real 14. And from there, I went through this one tunnel, one way in, one way out. And it's a huge tunnel. It used to be a silver mine place. And a lot of the Americans came down there looking for silver and all that kind of stuff. Proper cowboy town. And old ranchers there. With horses, Stetsons, Mexican boys, white shirts with the fucking gear on, like, best hats I've ever seen. On meals and that, came with like big fucking pockets on the sides of them and that, man. I was like, man, I'm in the shit. I went to a billiard hall there, shot a few games of fucking pool. Again, just like a few beers and that, like, had my wee. It's where they filmed The Mexican, like with Julia Roberts and fucking Brad Pitt. That same too. Anyway, it wasn't because I found out that later, and some person put it on, and I was like, I've been there. Yeah, oh, that's the same place. So decided, like, that's the high point. Then you can go down into where the valley is, and there's a creek and a fucking whole valley, and the river goes down, and the river goes away to the side, and then you end up in this place that's dry. It's called the desert, man. And you're in the basin. Then for ages I walked for like about, I don't know, 12 miles till I got to another town. And that's where it hits the Pan American Highway. And this is the big trade route for stuff coming up for the south and stuff coming down for the north. Southbound trains and all that stuff. Coming right down past this place, right? And it's like a ding, 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 ding. It doesn't even stop there. Stopped off at that place, looked around there, didn't find peyote. Gone down that road, 10 minutes, and we elastic car friend stuck our thumbs out. And a guy picked us up in a Chevrolet. 2 other trippers in the car. We were looking for the peyote as well. All right, okay. A Mexican boy didn't speak a word of English, and his Mexican girlfriend, they spoke Spanglish. And I tried my best. And all right, and they dropped us off. And they went their own way. We went our own way. I ended up chilling with the guy that had us in the car. I was like, I'll buy you a beer and that. And he bothered that. So I said, is it out there? He says, aye, it is. If you go look, you'll find it if it's there. So I went and looked for a day. Tried to set up a camp with a daft lassie with fake tits and all that shit. You can't imagine these kind of things. Anyway, got the camp set up and all that kind of stuff. Went away looking and that, done all my shit. Came back, was like, no. I'm looking under cactus bushes that weren't even there. You know what I mean? Fucking bullshit. I said, I'm going to go back in to speak to Manolo, which is my well. And his second name was Cayista Coyote or something like that, which means coyote, which are the wild dogs in the desert. So I went back up and I was like, I didn't come out of stead, went back up in this silly wee tune. It's like something at a fucking western or something, right? Manolo! And the answer, Manolo! The answer, Manolo! And he comes to his door, out on a veranda. All right, what do you want to know? I was like, fuck you. He says, get me a beer and I'll tell you all about it. I says, right, man, I'm here. I'm not here for long. We've 2 days left and I want to. The desert's been calling me to take this peyote and I've heard about this place and stuff. He says, you've come to the right place. I said, all right. So I had a beer, had a wee fag and that. He says, tomorrow morning you come pick me up, wake me up because I'm going to be drunk. 7 p.m. I said, right, I'm on it. So I went back out, got drunk in the desert. Not that far away from town. Had nice tunes on it and that until my battery ran out on my laptop and that. Ken. Cause I don't wanna oh, this stuff, Ken. Chris Isaac and all that shit. Looking at the stars going, oh, what a trip, what a trip, what a trip. Morning, 6:30, I'm up. Scattered up. Oh no! Right, son, what's happening? Right, okay. She's down there at the campsite. You ken the trail. I've seen the trail. See, I know the trail. Got him in his fucking high octane fucking cross country Chevrolet. Motherfucker, Jurassic Park thing. Pick up Catherine, get in, says, right, we're going into the real reserve. We go into the real reserve of the indigenous people of that place, which is called the Hooch Call. And we go in there. And then as soon as I went there, I was like, all right, here we go. Because the cactus bushes start getting a bit bigger. Snow was like picked and all that kind of stuff. And he says, the first one to see it, you'll never know. The first one to see it, you've just got to say hi and all that kind of stuff. So he's like that. He just stopped, put the brake on, handbrake on, and I went out the passenger seat because it's that side. Sorry, that side because I'm on the other side of the camera. It's not that side because I'm driving on the other side. I went up, I was like that. All right, I just stepped out and I went. And they're all looking about the other side and I went, ho! And I looked at it. There's loads of baby fucking peyotes just there. A family of them, eh?
Wow.
And the night before it, a guy had gave me, it was a homeless guy, a rich family, he gave me a piece of string. A piece of, you ken that really tough green string you get? Ken, for tying up plants and that sort of stuff. No the bendy stuff, but like this sort of stuff he had. He says, then he pick it like that. He says, put your thing around it and just like that. Because you've got to leave it back in the ground. And then you've got to put a present on top of it. And for ages, and since I met him, I had that night I went back when I met him, that was the night before, in Real 14. I had a pineapple and I ate a pineapple. Well, not the whole thing, but just bits of it. But I cut off the top of it. So it's succulent as fuck, right? And I put it in my pocket before I went down on this whole journey. He said, you're meant to leave him tobacco. So anyway, I took the string that he gave me and I put it around it. And I cut it off. And I took the top off the peyote and I put it in a wee bag, I think I had, like a plastic shitey bag or something. Some fucking, some shit. But then I had the top of the pineapple that completely just sat on the top. So it was like that. He says, oh no, you never had tobacco for it. I was like, oh, maybe I've done something wrong with that. I was like, that, all right. And I went looking for more, eh? And I was like, nah. So you're meant to get a gift as soon as you get it, right? I said, laughing at it. He was like, oh man, you need to get a gift. And I was like, I had this in my pocket for ages. So it's weird. I was getting a wee bit fusty in my pocket, but anyway, maybe I liked it. Eh? Maybe they're going to go, boom. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Thing is, pineapples, you know, Ken, they eat you. And they eat things. Oh, maybe I was wrong. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Some new brand of
By the
peyote,
by,
pineapple
by the way.
peyote.
And see, after that, I was like, boom, 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 boom. Kind of was like you start finding mushrooms and you go, oh, I.
Like, whoa, there's thousands.
In the back. Oh, aye, exactly. No, but the thing is, you didn't want to take a family away from them. You think, see, like a fucking American would go, I'll just take all these and that's it. No. Take one for that. Take one for that. Take one for that, and just be really careful about how you're going about the desert and shit like that. Just be really thankful for this, right? Because you've been looking for this for ages, this stuff. And like okay, and he told me, so take it back, a wee fire on the go, kill me, and then what you do is you prepare it. So you start taking the flowers off the top, because if you eat the flowers, you're going to actually end up sick. So you take the flowers off, you wash it off, you wash it with broom, and you get chocolate. And you get chocolate. So we went into town, we got these wee chocolate bar things, and we melted them down in a wee sort of bean can thing. Put the chocolate on and that. But at first you meant to eat it raw. So you chop it up, so you have a bit like maybe 4 or 5 each. And he says, you'll know when you've had enough. I said, what do you mean? He says, you'll know. I said, all right, okay. So, okay. And a guy said to me a while before that, said, if you're ever going to take peyote, this was a Dutch guy who was in the town before. He actually gave me and Catherine a bottle of mezcal, but it was a cheap mezcal. It's another cactus vibe. He says, if you're ever freaking out on it, you balance it off with this. So it's cactus on cactus kind of stuff, right? I'm like, what? Right, okay. So I kept that there. Got it. Eventually found it. Arse end of neighbour. And then like started eating it, peeled it off and that. And I was like, right, okay, here we go. Chop it up into wee sort of like segments. Holy fuck, that sour, like mate. I mean, can you imagine like fizzy but sour but no good? And you got to ingest it as well, like it feels like mushrooms when you're like taking like a powder, no dried but raw, just sludge. And your gut's going, nah, get it up. That's what's meant to do.
Mate, that sounds rough.
And you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and you go, right, I've had enough, eh? So what I started to do is I took the chocolate out of that one can, and then I put it in another can, and I just put some water in that we had, started boiling it up, so I made a brew. Kind of a mushy brew kind of thing, eh? Because Catherine didn't eat them, eh? So I was like, you just take the brew. So like fucking 45 minutes later, she says, I'm not having anything. Meanwhile, I'm coming up. The same bit of string that I've made, that was given to me, that green bit of string, I've been cutting about coming up, getting cactus stems, big long stems, big ones, eh? And making a bow and arrow, eh? Like, and all that.
Whoa.
Like, and before actually we done this, the guy said to me, make your own ceremony as well. I was like, didn't you go with all these guys that just take you and just go hiya, hiya, and just shake things about? That'd be a fucking nightmare if I was tripping. But what he says is just get a stone round the fire because it'll keep the coyotes away. So what I went, there was a graveyard nearby and there was all this broken down concrete. So I went up with my bag, my backpack. I filled my backpack full of all this broken concrete, and I made a big thing round the fire so I was protected. But you've got to leave an opening to the fire in the centre in your camp where the gods can get in, seemingly, right?
Okay.
This is the shit that he told me, right? And I was like, okay, but I'm not going to go with that kind of thing. Like, kind of, that sort of gringo tourism and that, let's get a fucking thing. So so I'd done it, right? So I'd done that. I also had, and I pissed around actually, the whole circle, obviously, to mark my fucking territory, right?
That's probably wise as well, yeah.
Well, I done that. I know I was in the middle of the desert, man, right? And I was like, oh no, fuck! I just took it on myself. I'm fucking pissing around this. I could hear the wee bastards the night before. Like, fuck that, man.
No.
Like, imagine that, There was a woman with fake tits caught in the middle of Mexico being raped by wild dogs. Who was the husband? Me. I was just raped. No happening, right? Get me. You understand my fucking kind of projectile fucking thing, right?
You got to do what you got to do, mate.
I just invent that, right? Anyway, fuck it, right? So anyway, she's like, she's expecting this big acid hit. I'm just like, ooh, hey. So for the same bit of string that the guy I've picked the peyote for, the guy gave me the night before, he was a homeless guy in the fucking place. He lent me his tent and I gave him some money and all that kind of stuff. We had that tent in the desert because of him. Anyway, so I've made a bow and arrow out of this. And I found a dream catcher next to the graveyard as well. And I thought, that's a bit old rusty thing,
That's a bit spooky,
there's no rain in the desert, but there's a lot of salt in that. It's a salt fucking plane, basically. So I've taken it down, put it up on this big thing, and just started like playing sort of like fuck about hang with this bow and arrow I've made. And I made a flight with a fag packet, kind of flight at the back, and it was working quite.
Did it work all right?
Oh, it was working Barry, man. It was like
amazing.
But I could never get it through the dream catcher. And as I'm coming up, man, I made the fire, and I said, right, okay, I'm going to stick the big cactus stick with the dream catcher on it 12 feet away from the fire, right? 12 feet away from the fire. And I kept on going back, and I walked 12 feet and I stuck it up there. I kept on walking back with the fires behind me, right? And I'm like, right, okay. You know it's 12 feet, right? To myself. Walk back 12 feet and just do it. And every time I got to about 8, I looked back because I can't, there was a fire there, right? It's like, fuck, man. What am I fucking doing? Like, what the fuck is this? Who the fuck are you, man? Trust in yourself, man. You made the fire. You made it 12 feet in front of it. You've stuck up the target. You've made the bow and arrow. You've made the arrow. You've made a flight for it and everything. You've done it, right? And then the time I just like looked right into the center of it and I went back 12. Never fucking flinched at all. Boom. Right through, man. Right fucking through. And I was like, right, now we're in the next level. And then my buzz went like, it was almost like, and then it kicked in and I was like, ooh, yeah, fucker. What's going on here? Now the clouds are going on. Like now time doesn't exist and all this shit. It was all weird, man. But
how would you describe the experience as compared to other psychedelics? Was it similar to any, or was it just totally foreign? Was there any familiarity to say like mushrooms or LSD?
Aye, a wee bit like mushrooms because it was plant, like, but in terms of what it asked me a question.
Mm-hmm.
It was, didn't you fuck about with me? Didn't you start fucking about with medicine here? This is no recreational stuff we're talking about here. This is no cutting about on acid at a festival shit. This is, you're in the desert, son. There's actually, and I respect the fact that you've done the fire and all that kind of stuff. You've pissed around it and the dogs are there and they could easily eat you. There's rattlesnakes about and there's all that kind of stuff. But what you need to do is trust in yourself before I'll trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And it really put it into me, man, As soon
Was
as I
that
trusted
like
myself, I was like that. I didn't even go, yes. I did in my mind there. I just went,
was that like a omnipotent voice? Was it male or female, or was it like just like a god
no, it was me
voice or
inside
something?
myself
It was
going,
yourself.
fucking, that just actually happened. Can I even explain that?
Cool. That's
I
weird. Yeah.
wasn't doing it because before I was just trying to pose for Ken, trying to get Ken display in front of Kath and see, oh, look, check what I can do, kind of shit that guys do. Whereas
Mhm.
I just done it for myself and I made that thing and I just done it myself. It was didn't
Different
even
story.
touch the sides, man. Eh? Even the fucking shitty fucking thing I made, it wobbled at the back, but it went completely through. And I just sort of stood for a second and right exactly behind the fire. I was like,
Yeah.
shit, I'm getting burnt here, eh? Like, can't I mean? And I was like,
It's a funny, it's like a barometer for the trip though, because it was like you hadn't said it, but in like silently you'd made this agreement with yourself that like when this arrow goes through this spirit, this dream catcher, like that's when like it kicks in, or like you, whatever the agreement was you made with yourself, and then you finally got there, and it was to do with faith,
trust.
right? Because you
Trust.
didn't look back at the fire, and that's
Exactly.
why you got it. Yeah, I love it. That's a fucking
I,
banger.
because what I was trying to do was just try to convince everybody else that I was kind of trustworthy in that situation because they felt unsafe within that environment.
Hmm.
So I was doing all this pissing around the fire and getting the rocks around and all that kind of stuff. And then like I was sort of neglecting myself at the same point and not actually taking that time to actually just like test myself and actually just go into the actual where I am. And as soon as I did, as soon as I just focused on nothing else, just but trusting myself to know what I'd done, like as soon as I done it, it was fine. Get me? It's like fucking wow. It's like fuck, what have I been doing? And then that opened up, and it was like, oh, the rest of the night. She was a bit sick and all that kind of stuff and like in a tent. But I was just like, fucking hell. And that was a big, massive sea change in what I thought I was an atheist. And any historism, you can fuck off with that. I like, fuck that, man. Everything's relative to... See, time doesn't exist in that point, like, Ken. It just became like a non-linear sort of space where you're just where you are, eh? And if you just let it just completely drop, and just trust, and then boom, and then it's like it's there. It's your target's completely, but it wasn't a target anymore. It was just like, oh, this is silly. Trusting myself, and it wasn't as if I was like looking at it or trying to look at it or that. I just went like right down the middle, like boom.
And how long was the like experience after that? Like from the point the Dreamcatcher went through, like how long was the experience?
What time's it now?
Well, like yeah, you say yeah. Like I mean, did you manage to figure out how long it took you? Like time disappeared, but like when you like sort of like came away from that scenario, had it been a few days or was it just one night?
No, it's still there. Not nice shit, man.
No, I'm sorry. I mean yourself, like you physically, or you're still there.
In terms of the actual visual trip, it's still there. Everything's it's there. You can tap into it at any time. It's a medicine. It's not recreational. It changed my mind, that my idea about God and everything like that massively. Like it's a no monotheism or like multitheism and all that kind of stuff. It makes you like listen to people. I know when I get drunk, I didn't listen to people a lot, but like the idea of just taking things instead of going, oh, this, you didn't can fuck all, man. These things are medicinal things, and they're there in your path at a certain point. When I got back, I ended up like doing so much stuff that wasn't music related at all. I ended up like doing a taco wagon, making Mexican street food, doing like opening up all these different things, and doing other things that were like that I didn't even know were there. That and see, this is the thing. It's not an instant release like kind of you come off a trip, you go, oh, I think differently. See, like when you get plant-based stuff and that, These are slow releasing things. They're medicine that go on a long trajectory, man. And they release slow, man, these things. And sometimes you got to top them up, maybe a wee mushroom trip here, just to remind yourself, like, once a year, what's actually happening, or like how you're going to go about the cosmos, where you are, and how you doubted it before, and what the doubts were, and why you doubted them, and all these different questions. And that.
What you going to do?
And I'm not going to say I didn't believe in God, but I'm not going to say I am.
I think it's true though. I hear that a lot, and I think actually what happens is it's like when you do a psychedelic trip, like you might believe in God, you might not believe in God, you might be a devout atheist, you might be a Catholic or whatever. But if you have a very deep psychedelic trip, it isn't like anyone's coming to you and saying, "Oh, here's a lot of information you didn't know, and now you think differently." It's more about what it does. I feel is like it smashes down any preconceptions you've had, and then therefore people that weren't religious or that are more open to the fact that it could be, because like you're saying, it's like, well, you can't prove it one way or the other, and psychedelics kind of just put you on that like same plane of like it's all chaos. you know.
Well,
you know.
But the thing is, I was like, I was never out on the fact that I was an Easterism, and I hate these kind of generalizations. The idea that like came up, I mean, religion and that, I mean, like that, whatever you want to believe in, that's fine, like that's fine. But like when it starts affecting other people, that's when I didn't like it. You know what I mean? When they start encroaching on you should do this as opposed to what you should actually just naturally do yourself, I've got problems with that. I've not got problems with anybody who's a devout whatever, as long as they, you know, like they're courteous to everybody else's belief with it. I mean, as you say, it's a yin and yang situation. Like, I didn't say that you said that actually, but what I mean is like, the chaos, but then you've got like, you know, the control and the chaos. It actually works together. Without good times, there isn't bad times. There's an absolute equilibrium within it. And getting that equilibrium is what I think I got there, in that sense where I was like, oh, you fucker, this is actually showing me not just like all my doubts and my cynicism about everything that I've always got, that I used to say about like, oh, this and that, and why is that, the fucking, why the Catholic thing and all that, and why you all even fucking putting these things in envelope for these pricks now, like, you know what I mean, like, you know what I mean, like my son's like half Irish and his family are heavily Catholic and that, but at the same time they've got like things and bugs about them and that, but they still always give money to the priest every year at Christmas. I'm like, fucking, what, they always got to confirmations. I'm like, didn't he take my son into that fucking church, man? I didn't believe in it. See the evidence that comes out with these like controlled sort of establishments basically compounds your belief to actually go against it, like with a power. But if people take solace with these kind of things, that's a different thing. But it really enraged me. Like, how can you just say that and do that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just like stupid. Like, it didn't work for me. So then suddenly you fall into the agnostic, ism, atheism. You know what I mean? I firmly believe in maybe even multi-gods. Like, Kenneth, if the guy goes out to sea, pray to the god of the sea. Like, pray to the god of the sea.
Why not?
Get the better. You know what I mean? Like, that's great. Like,
yeah, I like that too, man. Yeah.
But just to put it up to an altar and just say, "Oh, I've been guilty. I've been so guilty, just being me." I didn't get that, but I didn't think it's like a thing. I think people just need to get a bit good, solid, good medication in a place that's quite desolate, and like find yourself really on the risky life or death, and take that risk, and like gauge where the thing is, and then they come in and they go, "Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that." And you go, all right, maybe I don't know about that. So one of the things they say if you're in the desert as well, you should have questions before you go in the desert. So I thought I had no questions, but by the time I got there, I had fucking loads. I was like, "Where the fuck is my campsite?" You know what I mean?
Like page 47, question 3.2.
You know, these kind of things, like, why am I here with this bum? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, these are the things, and then they will tell you, like, oh, they go. The clouds can sometimes say a lot to you, and they go, and then they go, oh, I don't know about that, and it's like, oh, big Indians in the sky, now. You're seriously visually tripping it off. I thought I was a blue deer, eh? I was. No, they say that it's a lot that actually happens, eh? Like, no. Where'd you come? No. Like,
I've done it, mate. I've become a tiger cub once.
No,
It was awesome.
blue deer. No, they say this a lot. What did you see? I was like, a fucking blue deer. I was like, what? Blue deer? There's no deer in the desert. No, but there is. And all this kind of stuff.
I believe you.
Not only, but this is the thing about time, right? Not only was I making a bow and arrow and hunting the deer in the Orion's belt.
Whoa!
But I was mimicking Orion's belt with a hunter, right?
Fuck me.
I was also the deer at the same time.
That's right.
Get that around your fucking nut.
That's a belter. But and you started making the bow way before the deer entered the fucking story.
Like, all right.
That's a good. That's great. But you know, though, that's what happens, and it's hard to explain those weird synchronicities that can happen in psychedelic world. That's a really fucking. When you were the deer, like, did you feel threatened by yourself as the hunter?
Did I fuck? I just wanted to have a whack.
How do you do that as a deer?
Oh dear.
Oh my. Dude, man, we've managed to rack up 3 fucking hours already. Can you believe that shit? It's fucking amazing.
Easy, Chris said that. I was like to Chris, I was like, how can we do 3 hours? He's like, don't worry, we'll just get into it. I was like, shit, what have we got to talk about? I was like, oh, fucking open the can of worms. Man, anytime. Let's do it. I mean,
man, happy to have you on.
I started, like.
Anytime, man.
I think what you're doing is really good. I think it's like what people need to talk more people in, get Baz in, get Paul in, get Rory, get a big conversation in. That'd be brilliant. Get you Lindsay in, get Scott in, get everybody in.
We'll do it. I was thinking maybe even doing a sort of round table type thing. It might be a bit mad in terms of voices, but if there's maybe a few wee rules just for talking and that, it might be quite interesting to do some, like, you know, pick a subject, pick 5 folk, go for it, get into some arguments.
But then the thing is as well, what will happen around this table, at first it will be reckless and mental, but then eventually people will actually just ebb and flow with the same vibe. Like, you know what I mean? I see my hippie thing. It's
been an interesting experiment, man.
Fucked up, man.
But yeah, no, well, if you're up for that, let's maybe try and I want to do some other things other than the long chat. I've got some folk that want to come on and do some tunes, and like, so I'm going to be putting some other sort of shows together over the next couple of weeks. It's got so much time on my hands, so might as well. If anyone wants to do anything too, and again, Aaron, if you know any cunts that are like this guy's got mental stories and it'd be up for a chat, fucking hit me up. Hello.
I'd like to do a podcast with you soon.
Absolutely, yeah, no worries. Let's do it.
There's many things that I could have jumped in on here, but I didn't want to say. But
well, come join us on the round table. Come join us on the round table, Lindsay. We'll get the DMT chat going.
Or do like you know what could happen is like setting up like live sort of gigs from your living room gigs as well. You know, interview and live gig to go with it. You know?
Yeah, I think actually Craig from Sketches is putting something together like that. Craig Carnegie.
All right, never mind Sketches. Sketches is doing their own thing.
Anyway, right. Love yous guys. Thank you so much for all your time tonight. And sorry, Aaron. Fucking love yous to bits, and take it easy wherever yous are in the magical, mysterious land.
Magical, mysterious.
I don't know where you are.
By the seaside.
Right, peace and love yous too. Bye bye.
Stuart, take care. See yous.
Happy golden age.
Man, that was fucking Barry, as Aaron would say. Good shit. Tomorrow night I'm going to be talking with this lovely person, Suki Goodfellow. So yeah, tune in tomorrow night. Probably get started by 7:30, 8 o'clock again, as usual. I'm going to finish with the track I played at the beginning and in the middle. Did I mention Stevie Creed's got a new fucking banging track out, and he's like hacked into my like outro music. So here you go, people. Love yous all. Thanks for tuning in tonight as always. And thanks to my mum. That's my mum, Myra Gent. Watches every episode. Thank you so much, mum. Where's my tune? Right.
Yeah, Stevie, Southside till infinity and beyond. Scotland and New York, the type of shit that we on. Could last a couple eons. Here to bring the light, oh yeah, I'm bagging up the neon. Bagging up the neon. Let the fan, but then I made it right, but could you be wrong? For sleeping on the train and trapping just to make a new song. Bag of Stella at the party, then we get the groove on. Smash it, told me spend the night, I had to be gone. Jurassic, pussy feeling like the new classic. I blasted, got my log in without the password. And shit ain't been the same since I took the tab of acid. Got me like, what happens to a dream deferred? Them nightmares reoccur. The slight fears reassured that anything you wanna do is like, yeah, it's premature. Life could be a bitch, but you ain't got a bitch to her. I manifested, you just imagine. This shit was destined, you can't imagine. This ain't for looks, no, this ain't a pageant. Me and Stevie Creed is lyrical assassins. It's lyrical assassins.
Take a walk in my shoes as I stroll through the blocks. AirPods on blast while I let the beat knock. Hip hop won't stop, started with my tape pop. Now I'm in this thing forever, catch your haters at the top. Take a walk in my shoes as I stroll through the blocks. AirPods on blast while I let the beat knock. Hip hop won't stop, started with my tape pop. Now I'm in this thing forever, catch your haters at the top.
Stress levels are trebled, walking ethical rules. Clothes disheveled, so tremble like a step with the crows. Close bro was a salesman that sold me a ghost. Every level has a devil, they don't go to your shows. Talking about the people who never see the sequel. See, having a dream is evil, raining on my gazebo. The Beatles regal, pushing seeds like a kilo. Into ignorant people, throwing me off like a kilo. Extra terrestrial, exceptional, fluorescent glow. The next to blow, you're a vegan, well I'm the vegetable. Eat me, give me head and show. Seeing like a telescope, the feeling you're believing, releasing you, it's a chemical. Luring this family.